Hello everyone, there I am. How are all of you? Good to see you and welcome to another reading stream. Been a while since I did the last one. Let me just put on a little music. How about, this one. There it goes, okay. But yeah, hope you're all doing well. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're all having a good... Thank you, Tag. It's good to see you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much. Okay. okay. Let me focus. Alright. So, we are starting Animorphs number 14, The Unknown. Actually, I meant to do the Andalite Chronicles next, but I kind of slipped my mind, so I'll do that next time instead of 15. It'll be a bit longer, but it'll be good. And I'm sure this one will be good too. If I recall, this one features Cassie. Got 27 chapters. Anyway. Chapter 1. My name is Cassie. I can't tell you my last name. The Yerk danger is too great. There are days when it feels like a noose is slowly tightening around my neck. There are days I don't feel like I can trust anyone. But as long as I don't know for sure who I am, maybe my friends and I can stay alive. Maybe. Kind of dramatic sounding, right? Like maybe I'm paranoid or nuts, right? Well, trust me, I'm not being over dramatic. I'm probably the least dramatic person you'll ever meet. Not one of those crazy conspiracy people or anything. Really. I'm just an average girl. I'm not some supermodel or rock star or whatever. I'm short. Okay looking, but definitely not beautiful. I'm more stocky and solid than tall and willowy. You want tall and willowy, meet my best friend Rachel. But that's not me. I'm a short girl with short black hair and no makeup, and a wardrobe runs to come off from jeans all the way to overalls. I own 2 pairs of boots, both are currently covered in mud and various kinds of poop. I also have a couple of nice pairs of rubber gloves. You don't even want to know what's all over them. See, I work with animals a lot. I help my dad, who's a veterinarian. He runs the wildlife rehabilitation clinic, which is actually just our barn. He takes in all kinds of injured wildlife and sets their broken legs, heals their mange, soothes their burns, disinfects their bites. I help out after school and on the weekends, mostly do things like give them their medications. I wash them in their cages, feed them, change dressings on my dad in surgery. He's teaching me how to suture, make stitches. Cool, huh? At least to me. But in any case, now you know why I own poopy boots and gross gloves and several pairs of torn, stained jeans. What can I say? I'm not going to be appearing on the cover of a magazine. On the other hand, Rachel's best friend, she'd no doubt be the coolest person you'd ever know. And Jake likes, as in likes. And he's the smartest and most balanced person I ever met. Except maybe for my parents, who are cool but in a parental way. Oh wait, Jake likes me. Ah, okay, so she does know. Anyway, I guess the lack of a decent wardrobe hasn't set me back much. When we can judge persons by looking at their friends and their enemies. I have wonderful friends and terrible enemies. I have the kind of enemies that no normal, short, fashion-impaired animal nut should have. Because the Earth is being invaded. It's being invaded by a species of intelligent parasites called the Yerks. In our normal state, they're just these gray slugs, like fat snails out of their shells, but they have the ability to enter the brain of another animal, wrap themselves around it, sink into all the little cracks, and utterly take over. They've already enslaved the entire heart mature race, made allies of the vile Taxons, and now they're after us. They're here, all around you just don't know it. They can be anyone. You think you know your friends? Your teachers? Even your parents? Maybe you do, but maybe you don't. Because any one of them might have a Yerk living in their head. Any one of them might be a controller. That's what we call a person who's enslaved by a Yerk, a controller. A human controller who is a human who's completely enslaved by a Yerk in their head. I mentioned Jake earlier. His brother Tom is one of them. At school, our assistant principal Chapman is one of them. And who is fighting to stop this invisible secret invasion? Just a bunch of kids. Jake, Marco, Rachel, Tobias, an alien kid named Axe, and yours truly. And now you're worried. You're thinking, are us being invaded by evil slugs from space and we have on our sides a bunch of kids? Well, we're not just a bunch of kids. We have certain abilities. As soon as we learned about the Yerks from a dying Andalite prince, Elfengor, he gave us Andalite morphing technology. It lets us become any animal we can touch. I've been a wolf, an osprey, and a fly, more than a dozen animals, been through terrible danger and awful violent battles. But I'm still alive, still just Cassie. And I still don't care about clothes, which just drives Rachel nuts after all these years. She's staring on the barn, just staring at me. Cassie, I'm saying, look, wear jeans if you want, wear overalls, wear crusty rubber boots, I can accept that, but you could at least buy jeans that fit. These fit fine, I protested. Cassie, you know I love you. You know my best friend in the whole world, but those jeans are so short you could walk across Mississippi and not get wet. When did you buy them, when you were 4? I looked at them. They happened to end about an inch above the top of my boots. I grinned at Rachel. She gets so distressed about things like that. There's a look of actual pain in her face, like the mere existence of jeans that short was agonizing. You're saying these are too short? Not if there's a flood coming. If you're expecting a flood, these are the exact jeans you should wear. Just come with me. I'm going to the place. They're having a lot of sales, and I want you to come with me. I narrowed my eyes. I knew what the place was. I'm not going to the mall with you, I said. Who's going to the mall? A voice asked. It was my dad. He just opened the side door of the barn. Rachel's going to the mall, I told him. Please make her go with me, Rachel begged my father. He laughed. Nope, sorry, Rachel, I need Cassie. Crazy Helen called me a sick horse out on the edge of the dry lands. Rachel looked at my father's own jeans, about 6 inches above his shoes, rather than socks that didn't exactly match. Gee, I wonder where Cassie gets it from. I made a helpless shrug for Rachel. Darn, now I can't drag behind you for 3 hours while you power shop and guys drool over you. What a pity. Oh, life is so cruel. She made a face and then laughed. Hey, a sick horse is more important than buying jeans to go all the way down. Come with us, I said Rachel. I like my dad and all, but I really do, but a 2-hour drive with him and just old Stevie Wonder CD is not gonna be fun. Yeah, right. I said, come with us tomorrow, I'll let you pick out a new pair of jeans for me. Real jeans? Not some blue cardboard-looking bargain jeans? She bit her lip and a misty look got in her eyes. Of course, you'd need a nice top to go with them, too. And that is how we ended up discovering evil horses that threatened all of humanity. But I better not get ahead of myself. First way to drive to the dry lands. Evil horses, she says. I love when I drop things like that. It's just like, what does that mean? But anyway. Chapter 2. It was dark by the time we got away from the city, away from the far edge of the forest, and out in the area usually called the dry lands. It wasn't exactly a desert. I mean, we're not talking cactuses. The area is kind of a wasteland of scruffy grass and lots of emptiness and stretch on forever. Here and there you'll see a tree or maybe a few trees, but mostly just grass and wildflowers and scrub and piles of boulders that jump out of the ground. Not that we saw much of drylands at night. It was highway all the way there, just an hour, with all 3 of us crammed in the front seat of the pickup. My dad won't let us drive in the back. It's not safe. Ride in the back is not safe. But of course, Rachel and I couldn't talk much to my dad right there. It's not just he's a parent. It's also he doesn't know anything about us as Animorphs. So, who's Crazy Helen? Rachel asked as we talk about anything. Probably shouldn't call her that, my dad said, even though that's what she calls herself. She's an old one, maybe 80. She has a trailer behind a souvenir shop she owns. Many years back when there's trouble in the dryland horse herds. There's a problem with intestinal parasites, I explained. Worms. For who, the horses or Crazy Helen? There it is, my dad said, interrupting my search for a really funny comeback. He pulled the truck into a souvenir stand topped by a gigantic billboard that read Last Chance Souvenirs. The billboard was bigger than the actual store. It was closing like it had been for years. Behind the store is a trailer, an Airstream, you know, the silver bullet-shaped ones. There's an awning out front trimmed with bright Christmas lights, who knows nowhere near Christmas. Crazy Helen came out and she saw us pull up. She had stringy gray hair, wearing a faded flowery blouse over patchy jeans and cowboy boots. Hey, Rachel said, it's you, Cassie, in 60 or 70 years. I accidentally dug my elbow into Cassie's side. Rachel's side, we both laughed. Actually, Cassie, I'm never running a big sister volunteer organization that saves unhappy chickens and whales or whatever, she said, softening her sarcasm. I kind of like that picture of my future, though I wasn't sure I was going to work with chickens and whales at the same time. She's over there! Over there! Crazy Helen yelled as we piled out of the truck. It's a big roan mare. She's acting all funny like she'd been eating a loco weed. Loco weed? Rachel asked me. I shrugged. Hi, Helen, my dad's calling. We'll take a look and see what we have. How have you been? Those darn aliens don't let me sleep, she said. I saw Rachel stiff and I gave her a wink, and a low express said, different aliens. They keep sending me messages through my teeth, Helen said. They keep on telling me they're gonna land right out here, but I ain't seen a Martian land in 40 years. Very untrustworthy. Very, very sneaky, untrustworthy folks. Who, my father asked. The Martians, that's who. She laughed. It wasn't a crazy, like more of a gentle, knowing kind. I wonder if sometimes she was really crazy or just playing a game. Well, we'll go look at the horse, my dad said. Rachel and I shone flashlights in the dark. The moon was up. It was just a sliver and didn't cast much light. And soon we were beyond the pool of light from the trailer and the billboard, and absolute blackness given far from the city. The flashlight picked out stumpy trees and bushes and rocks, and we sound was rustling a tall grass as we walked. My father and I peered deep in the gloom looking for a horse. Rachel wanted her and turned and looked back to the highway. Hey, is that the horse you're looking for? Rachel asked. Where? There, back by the road, off by a payphone. We turned back to look, and a scruffy roan horse was swaying from side to side as it walked like it was drunk. When we watched it, the horse seemed to be attracted to the telephone. It picked up the receiver with its mouth and let it hang off the hook. And that's when it got strange. The horse lowered its head to the ground, picked up a twig with its lips, and seemed to be poking the telephone keyboard. Am I crazy? The horse trying to make a phone call, Rachel said. My dad shrugged. Must be disoriented, doesn't know what it's doing. Come on, let's get over there. I drew up behind a few steps following with Rachel. That horse is dialing the phone, Rachel said in a whisper. She looks like it. Ordering a pizza? Hey, alfalfa and extra cheese? My dad was getting close to the horse, so spotted and hesitated like I wanted to complete his phone call, but also wanted to run. It decided to run, but it wasn't really up to it. Best could do is wobble off in the darkness, practically falling over. Whoa, girl, whoa, my dad said in a calming his animal voice. I'm just trying to help you. But the horse wasn't interested. It swayed and wobbled and drifted away as fast as it could. I lost it in the darkness when I heard a woof. I broke into a run as soon as I got my father's kneeling over the fallen horse. The horse was trying to stand up, but I was out of it. What do you think it is? I asked my dad anxiously. The horse sweating profusely. Huh, I didn't know horses could sweat. I guess they can. They glared at us with huge orange eyes. It could be a lot of things, but I have money on a snake bite. Try and keep her calm. I have to get some things to the truck. I'll be right back. Snakes? Sure, a lot of snakes I hear, said. Pat the horse's flank made soothing noises. Not at night though, right? I mean, snakes are probably a daytime thing, right? Not always. Great, that's much better than them all. Poison snakes and phone-calling horses. Psh. Also, I don't know why Rachel thinks snakes just literally only come out during the day. Heck, out in the desert, you probably only see them at night because it's cooler to stay in under rocks or whatever, I'd imagine. And they're, well actually, maybe not. I mean, they are cold-blooded, so maybe they'd be better in the day? Either way, I wouldn't be surprised if you see them at night still. Anyway, suddenly I noticed something happening on the horse's head. Look, I cried. They're crawling out of the way of the horse left ear was a slug, a large gray one. Is that what I think it is? Rachel whispered. Yeah, I think so. It wormed out of the horse's head, plopped heavily in gravel and grass, and it tried to writhe away. I seen those slugs before we both had. Yerk, I whispered. There's a yerk inside this horse. It crawled in the darkness like nice I saw Dad still digging through medical supplies. He wanted a terribly large horse. Oh wait, hold on. I guess I saw him digging through medical supplies. That's when the pale stallion appeared. Not a terribly large horse. He knew right away this was a powerful animal. He stepped calmly toward us, head held high. He looked at a snake-bit horse and he looked at the crawling yerk. It's hard to see clear in the dark, but I think the yerk tried to race up to the horse, like they're trying to reach it. The stallion turned me and run away. Rachel? Yeah, we have to get out of here. What do you mean, why? I don't know why, it's just a feeling, an instinct. It was really strong. Just do it. Run. Run! I grabbed Rachel's arm and yanked her along with me. It took about 8 steps to them. A blinding light, brilliant and intense as a flash bulb in your face. The light was coming from above, from up in the sky. The very rocks split open, the ground itself seemed to explode. My face hit the dirt before I even knew I was falling. Well then. Chapter 3. I was on my back, I was indoors, so my eyes stared up at me. It was an alien, a pale, ghostly, oval face with 2 enormous eyes. It looked like a little kid with weak arms and legs. It looked like one of those aliens from an old movie, The Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It looked exactly like one of them. I blinked and looked again. It was a life-size cardboard cutout. Standing behind the alien was Data from Star Trek: The Next Generation. I stood up. All around me were shells piled with Star Wars masks, Wookiees and Darth Vader and Imperial Stormtroopers, Star Trek handle phasers and Spock ears, posters all over the place, Mulder and Scully from X-Files, Mike Crow, Servo and Gipsy from Mystery Science Theater 3000, movie posters from Plan 9 from Outer Space, The Day the Earth Stood Still, Invasion of Bystanders, and of course, 2001: Space Odyssey. Mostly are posters, mugs, ashtrays, pencils, and t-shirts all blazed with a red and white logo dominated by a stencil letters spelling Zone 91. She's awake, Rachel said. She saw her carrying a short stick in her hand. What's going on? I asked her. You were knocked out, you know, and that totally unexplainable explosion happened. She arched not one brow and gave me a meaningful look. I understood. Rachel was demanding that we not have seen what we saw, that there was no yerk and there would be no Dracon beam. My father came rushing over, followed by Crazy Helen. He knelt me and feeling my head. Ow! Looks okay. Superficial cut, serious bruise, but not as a concussion. Still, take me to the hospital emergency room on the way home. Have the doctors check you out. No, Rachel winked. Dr. Carr made there. No, a while. Oh yeah, what happened? I asked my dad. Well, honey, it was the aliens, Crazy Helen, after they had exploding rocks to spray out here. Boom! He rolled his eyes. We were near to an airport facility. They have a base way back in the dry land. You see a jets flying over all the time. It's like they lost a bomb or a missile or something. That snake-bit horse must have been set it off. The blast got you. That seems logical, I said. It was the aliens, Crazy Helen screamed. They keep the aliens out at Zone 91. That's why it's also a secret out there. That's why Air Force won't talk about it. Zone 91's a secret base, so the government keeps the aliens captured. They have out there in cages. Got secret technology from. You think computers just happened? All that stuff's from aliens. Here, have a soup in your mug. Normally it's $10.99, but you can have it because you got hurt. Psh. I mean, I'd take a free mug. Helen grabbed a mug from her shelf, wiped off her sleeve, and handed it to me. Rachel held up her stick. I got a pecan log, she said. You want a mug? She asked her. No, the log's great, but I don't really believe in anything, so a perfectly straight face. She smiled. Lots of people do, young lady. Very smart people, too. Out in Zone 91, they know. Oh, they know. The government don't know what I was telling. They watch me. Listen through the microchip they implant in my head. They're listening right now. One of those black helicopters is listening and transmitting everything we say. The New World Order headquarters in Azores? Which is where Atlantis is, you know. Just try your lips all temporarily without anything much to say. We kind of just stared. Well, we might as well get out of Helen's hair, my father said, breaking the spell. Cassie, honey, do you feel okay? Can you focus your eyes? Yeah, what about the horse? Yeah, my father shook his head mystified. Strangest thing, you're in a trace left of her, not a trace. Ha, it's the Martians, Crazy Con says. All the father's darned aliens. Rachel and I exchanged a look. We brought down the same thought. It's a very strange world where a person called Crazy Helen is at least partly right. Personally, I think she's not really crazy. She just puts on an act. That's why she's throwing all these conspiracy theories together at the same time. Chapter 4. You never heard of Zone 91 before? It's the holy grail of conspiracy nuts, Marco said between slurps of Mountain Dew. Man, you don't ever go on the internet? The internet's full of people who think they're aliens in Zone 91. Call them the most secret place on Earth. I go on the internet, Rachel said. I just hang around chat rooms, call myself Studboy and trim so incredibly handsome 30-year-old billionaire. Excuse me, Marco said, but I don't use Studboy as my screen. I give you some credit. I use Ball and Boy 5, you know, the missing fifth Ball and brother, the really cool-looking one. We were at the mall food court day after the incident in the Drylands, clutching a shopping bag, and Cyrus there were smaller bags than the Gap and J. Crew. It was all Rachel's doing, of course. By everything, she actually remembered my stupid promise, so now I own outfits. Not just clothes. Outfits. Even I'd heard of Zone 91, Jake said, not like Marco, I'm a fairly normal human being. Marco threw a french fry at Jake, and he ducked. With a quick movement, Axe snatched it out of midair, popped in his mouth, and said, grease, grease, and salt. Just as the boy walked over the table, seemed nervous, edgy like a little scary experience of being in the mall. Looked over his shoulders a lot, and when he looked right at you, he squints as if he was nearsighted. Hey Tobias, Margaret said, we were thinking about ordering some pizza. You want mouse meat on yours? Maybe I should back up and explain who all these people are, because otherwise you'd never guess as much as the Animorphs. First there's Jake, he's pretty much our leader. Not that anyone really treats him that way, and not that he wants to be treated that way. It's part of the reason he is our leader, because he's the kind of guy who doesn't need anyone sucking up to him. Then there's Marco. What can I say about Marco? Not as much as he'd say about himself, that's for sure. He's our sense of humor in a group, but not the class clown. There's this seriousness to him all the way down beneath the glib jokes and teasing. He sees things other people miss. He's very smart and wide awake, if you know what I mean. He's Jake's best friend, and they've been best friends forever. No one even remembers when it started, but ever since their friendship began, they've been arguing each other about the most stupid things. Whether you can use more pedal or higher gears to win this dumb driving game, whether aspiring to be Batman, whether basketball takes more teamwork than football, whether cheese tastes yellow. Depends on the cheese. I'm not kidding, they once spent an entire Saturday arguing whether someone could taste a color. I still remember Margaret thought that cheese actually tasted green. But despite this, Jake and Marco along with Rachel may are most normal members of the Animorph, the other two are definitely weirder. Take Tobias. Tobias is a kid trapped in the body of a red-tailed hawk. It happens that you stay more than 2 hours in a morph. You stay not morph permanently. Tobias lives in the forest near a meadow. He still lives by hunting mice and rabbits. But a vastly powerful creature called the Elemishes recently gave him his power back to morph. Now he can morph like any of us, except just as we had to return to our human form, he has to return to hawk form. So the human body isn't at the mall, it's actually a morph of his old body. That's why it seems nearsighted used to his laser sharp hawk eyes. He could stay forever in that body, be trapped as a human, unable to morph anymore. Confusing? Well, it gets worse. The last member of our group is not human at all. His full name is Axilmi Iskroth Ishtil. We call him Axe. He's an andalite, but he's a human morph created out of bits of DNA from Jake, Marco, me, and Rachel. Axe and his human morph is shockingly pretty for a boy and very weird. See, andalites don't have mouths, no sense of taste, so when he's a human morph and has a mouth, he has no resistance to flavor. He's dangerous around cinnamon buns, and chocolate, and popcorn, and the paper boxes that popcorn comes in. Basically, in human morph, he should not go anywhere near anything that should be eaten. We had to stop him from eating the butts out of ashtrays. Don't get me wrong, he's brilliant and decent and honorable and brave in his own body. So what's up, Tobias asked. 6 out of eyes scan the area around us. The mall wasn't busy, it was too early for a big dinner crowd in the food court. We're not having to be sure no one ever heard us. Our enemies could be anyone and anywhere. Rachel and Cassie went to Zone 91 and found horses making phone calls, Marco said. Tobias' eyes stared at me, then Rachel looked very serious. He must have forgotten to make human expressions, but he's still Tobias. Can someone interpret from Marco babble to normal language? I think I like you better as a chicken, Tobias, Marco said. Red-tailed hawk, he said tauntingly. Chicken, pigeon, hawk, whatever. How about we get down to business where someone interrupts us, Jake suggested. Okay, Dad, Margaret said. Then becoming serious, he said, quickly officially summarized for Tobias what we knew. Yerks and horses, Rachel said. Makes sense. Why would they want... Makes no sense. Why would Yerks want to make controllers out of horses? Do horses have some special powers? Powers, Axe asked. In addition to enjoying taste fine speaking out words would be strange. I shrugged. They're herd animals, not very smart. Pretty dumb, really. They can run fast, they're a lot faster animals. They're strong, but there are lots of other animals that are stronger. I can't see why Yerks would want to invest horses. Maybe they think they can win the Kentucky Derby, Rachel joked. Maybe some kind of strange Yerk entertainment, Jake offered. Maybe it's fun for them. I don't believe Yerks do anything for fun, Prince Jake, Axe said. They would have some reason. I think Axe is probably right in that, at least as far as he knows, because they don't even have, like, normal names. I don't think they really have fun activities. Anyway, Axe, please don't call me Prince Jake, especially not in public. Yes, Prince Jake. Jake. Are you too sure about this? Drake asked Rachel me. Use a yerk, not a snake or a snail or something. And what if your dad was right and it's pulling artillery shell, not a Drake gun flash? We're not down you, Jake said quickly. It's just no good reason for yerks to invest horses. I looked at Rachel. I was pretty sure what I'd seen, mostly. Well, I guess I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure, Rachel echoed. So, what do? Take a look out on the dry land, see if we can get some sort of proof? It's very good flying out there, Tobias said. Lots of thermals, and plenty of delicious snakes and toads. Marco asked in mock innocence. I can't go tomorrow, Jake says. My dad's birthday. We're going out for dinner. Even Tom? Tom says he'll be there, Jake said darkly, but who knows? Spends a lot of time at meetings lately. All the more reason why I have to be there. Dad's not going to celebrate his birthday, at least one of his sons there. What'd you get your dad? I asked, trying to lighten the mood. He grinned. I haven't done it yet, but I think I'm going to clean the roof gutters for him. Ah. Marco shuddered. Actual physical labor? Could you just give him a Hallmark card? I'm kind of curious about the thing with the horses, I said, but we could put it off till the weekend. It could be worth checking out, but I don't think we need ever going along. Who wants to go flying with Cassie tomorrow after school? And then Tobias, Rachel, Mark, and I decided to go. Jake is busy. I didn't think I saw any point. We broke up in our separate ways. We tried to spend so much time together in public. We didn't want any inquisitive controllers start thinking of us as a group. So Rachel and I left together. No one's taking this seriously, are they? I asked her. I get the impression accents are nuts. Yerks and horses, hearse controllers, kind of hard to see what there's some big thread. I guess it's true. But hey, ain't excuse to go flying, right? Personally, I'm a little surprised Axe turned down this sort of thing, but I guess he feels like whatever he's doing is a little more important. Chapter 5. Next day I wore a new outfit to school. I hooked up with Rachel for first period when we walked to class together. Down the main hall, me and Rachel, the guys at clothing and good grooming. You look great, Rachel said. Hi, Rachel, boy named Charles. I smiled at me. Oh, and hi, Carla? See, Charles smiled at you. He called me Carla. Has he ever spoken to you before? I guess not. See, progress. Psh. Marco sees Rachel calling her a Xena warrior princess, and with her I guess I'm Gabrielle, the sidekick. The guys see Rachel first, second, and third, and see me fourth. Personally, I don't care. Looks and clothing don't matter, and people who matter are the ones that see past all that. Well, there you go. Hey Rachel, how's it going? A guy named Juan said, smiling shyly. Fine, Mr. Cooley. Cassie met Juan, haven't you? I shrugged. Hi, Juan. Hi, Kendra. I said, see you in English, Rachel. Kendra? I asked Rachel. He gave you a definite look, Rachel said. And so what if he's good at remembering names? He remembers your name pretty well, point out. That's by a guy named Joe. He's a friend of mine when we both took writing lessons together. He would remember a name. Hey, Cassie. Whoa, something's different about you. Stop and stare at me. New outfit, Rachel suggested. He said, no, that's not. Oh, I know what it is. You look like you gained weight. You've been trying to bulk up. He reached out an elegant hand and pushed Joe disdainfully out of the way. That proves nothing, Rachel said. Uh-huh, I look fatter. Guys are idiots sometimes. Not Jake, I said. Rachel rolled her eyes. Jake's the exception that proves the rule. And there he is now. He's cruising down the hall, joking and talking with some non-Animorph friends, partway to make our normal lives. Hi, Cassie, Jake said. Hey, Rachel. Rachel stood back, held her hands out toward me like a fashion designer showing up to lay a supermodel. So what? Jake asked plainly. The outfit? The outfit? Rachel spoiled frustration. Does Cassie look great in these new clothes? Clothes that fit and have no raccoon poop stains? Doesn't she look fabulous? Jake smiled a slow smile. Of course she looks great. She always does. You guys have fun in the dry land this afternoon and try to be careful. Go down the hall, leave me with a nice warm glow. Ah. Rachel stared at me. Okay, he's an idiot too. No, you're right the first time, I said smugly. He's the exception. Ah. We reached first period class. I sighed deeply in my usual reaction on first period. The classroom was stuffy and airless. The windows just looked out on a blank brick wall at the gym. I went to my seat and tried myself what was supposed to be studied the night before. Did I do my homework? Oh yeah, I had. It was in my... No, it can't be! Marco's voice sat 2 rows over, but now he leaped clear over 1 row of seats and slid into an empty desk next to mine. He stared at me wide-eyed wonder, way too much wonder. Who is this vision of loveliness? Who is this fantasy come true? Excuse me, are you Tyra Banks? No, you couldn't be an immortal girl. So much perfection can never be accomplished by a mere human. You're an angel from heaven. I mean, they say clothes make the man, but these clothes make you an angel. I took out my homework and placed it on my desk. Are you done? He thought for a moment and nodded. Yeah, that should be about enough. What did Rachel pay you? He grinned. $2. Girls are idiots. I'd have done it for $1. Chapter 6. We met at the Wildlife Rehabilitation Clinic. I quickly doled out the meds of the caged patients. It was a slow week. Half the cages are empty, which is totally unusual. You ready? Rachel asked. Just had to make sure. Just had to check in as a possum's badge. Good, the stitches are holding. Good boy, said the opossum with a mangled paw. Okay, now I'm ready. Why do they have the extra O in opossum? Marco wondered. What's the point of its silence? Oh, it's silent? Oh, wow. Wait, so possum doesn't usually have an O in it, so... I'm gonna look this up 1 second. I need to know. The correct word is opossum. Remember, not confused with the tree drill, an Australian possum. Okay, so possums are Australian. Opossums are American. Got it. Tobias up in the rafters, he's in his hawk body once more, the red-tailed hawk with a brown back and a tan front and reddish-brown tail. His eyes are golden and humanly intense. Since he's in Morphe, communicate, and thought speak, everything's clear, he said to me. Your mom just went inside the house carrying groceries. Her dad just chugged his coming from the intersection at Exxon station. It'll take him 5 minutes to get here. I didn't doubt Tobias. Hawk's had amazing vision. From his position in the rafters, he could see through the open loft door. He said my dad was 5 minutes away. He was 5 minutes away. Let's morph, Rachel said. She moved her clothing folded neatly into her backpack. Beneath it, she wore a morphing suit. We don't have to figure out more bulky clothing, only morph something fairly skin tight, like her black leotard, my somewhat more colorful aerobics outfit, or Marco's bike shorts. I focused on the morph I wanted to do. It was an osprey, and type of hawk usually eats fish and lives by water. It was good for distance flying. Rachel morphed her own big border play, a bald eagle. Marco had osprey morphed just like mine, in fact identical since we acquired the same bird's DNA. I began to focus on the osprey, and as I did, I felt the changes begin. Morphing still excited me a dozen of times each time, and I realized how lucky I am to have this power. I never get tired of it, never get bored, experience a total, complete, utterly amazing change. Each morph happens differently, things happen in unpredictable ways, it isn't always smooth and gradual. Often it's completely illogical, you never know what will happen. This time, the first change I noticed my legs, like getting smaller to begin to morph into bird legs. My 5 small toes melted together, and from those melted toes came long talons. 3 long talons forward and 1 turn back. Looking down, seeing what people know saved birds are centered on dinosaurs. A hawk talon lives actually at the foot of a tyrannosaurus, some big predator dinosaur. A hawk talon's one of those things you just look at and know it's a weapon. They're fleshless and have no feathers, so that the blood of prey doesn't stick and turn nasty. They're quick and powerful at gripping, but weak and reluctant to let go. And the claw at the end is designed not just hold a branch or walk and be squeezed directly into the flesh of prey. Nature, as I learned from my parents, isn't always warm and cuddly. She's got legs, she knows how to use them, Marcus sang an old song. He laughed as the last cut off when his mouth turned to an osprey beak. Next change in my skin, it lightened to a medium gray, and of all the skin on my arms I saw patterns being drawn. Feather patterns like tiny trees pressed flat. There are some tiny veins that overlap like shingles on a roof. Then ripping across my body, the patterns became three-dimensional. The patterns had slowly become full-fledged feathers. It itched, but it didn't hurt. I resisted the urge to scratch, because my fingers weren't exactly fingers. The finger bones began to elongate. At the same time, my arm bones contorted and shrank, becoming lighter, air-filled, and hollow. Bones made a sort of grinding noise, it stirred a few times, to put it mildly, and finally I was shrinking. The ground began to rush up toward me. I had done this many times, couldn't quite shake the feeling I was falling without ever hitting the bottom. I left my boots standing right near me. They were recently about mid-calf, but now as I shrank, the boots grew. From mid-calf height near the waist height in less than a minute, I was still shrinking. At the same time, my internal organs began to shift and rearrange. My long, twisted human intestine became much shorter, just to track of a bird. My slow potting human heart became a rapid-fire heart of an osprey. Kidneys, lungs, liver, nothing stayed the same. Then, sport! My lips bulged and became very suddenly harder than fingernails, and a curved, ripping hawk beak. I felt my teeth sort of shrivel away, from my forehead receded, my chest narrow. All the fat in my body disappeared, leaving me a little more in skin, muscle, and hollow bones wrapped in feathers. I know several animals in cages watching this great intensity, no more so an injured fox who seemed mesmerized by the way they'd gone from being huge, threatening humans to small, tasty birds. He watched me with hungry, glittering eyes. Better get a move on, Tobias says. Should be well clear before Cassie's dad gets here. Yeah, Marcus said. Looks like we're here to break the cages and bust your birds out. I spread my arms, my set arms, I had wings. I'm ready. Rachel? I looked at Rachel. Her human eyes are just changing color. Stare back at me in Eagle's intense gaze. Ready? Let's fly. Oh, my wings would beat downward, hard, and again. I drew my talons up and beat several times more. I rose on the floor of the barn. It was a struggle. We were inside in a cramped area with no headwind. I beat my wings and rose to the loft that perched beside Tobias. Rachel came to rush just across from us. She was nearly twice her size, and we stretched 6 feet from tip to tip and blazingly white head and tail. Looked up through the open hayloft, saw osprey eyes. It was as if the humans were blind. I saw my dad's truck going down the dirt road to our farm. I saw through the windshield, saw his face, the hairs on his head. It was if a fly could land on his nose right then, I'd be able to see its antennae twitch. My dad was still 200 yards away. I shielded my gaze to a rectangle of blue in my sky, opened my wings, launched myself forward, swooped out for the window, caught just enough breeze, and soared toward the clouds. The time of being an Animorph is pretty bad, but it's definitely not when you're flying. Chapter 7. There's a lot to know about flying. Fortunately, Osprey's brain took care of most of it. It trimmed my tail, adjusted the angle of my wings, but my brain was there too, and I flew. We flapped hard to get some altitude and rise over the barn of my house. A few seconds we were high enough for me and saw the orange frisbee accidentally thrown on the roof of my house. We circled, defying gravity, could see my dad pulling a shark up the mailbox and check the letters. I still could see my own living room window and see my mom tilting her head back, eyes closed, relaxing after her day's work. This way, Tobias called to us, and Rachel and I followed. The sky is home to Tobias. He knows his way around. Rachel and I are just visitors in the clouds. See over there off on the east, see the way clouds are piled up, a slight rippling in the air. I turned my incredible Osprey vision. I did see the air ripple from heat. The same way we can sometimes see heat waves rising from pavement on a hot day, but these are half a mile away. Yeah, I see them. Is that thermal? A big one will ride that mile up. After all this time, my eyes still side by flying. I guess it would be too. It's the coolest thing in the world. We flew hard, separated by a few hundred yards so we wouldn't look over together. Red tails, bald eagles, and ospreys don't exactly fly in formation. I felt my wing muscles grow tired. Flapping is hard work, whereas reach the thermal will be easier. A thermal is a pillar of rising warm air. You spread your wings in a thermal, you can store very little energy. Then wonderfully we are in it. I felt warm air build up beneath my outstretched wings as I soared up and up. Oh, I love this, Rachel yelled. I love this, I love this, I love this. So you're saying you love this, Marco asked her. Up we went, circling over and under and around each other. We're doing airborne ballet of incredible gracefulness. The ground fell away beneath us. Now even our excellent predator hearing picked up no sound from cars or houses and stores below us. Up we went to the tallest trees with tiny bushes, till lawns gave postage stamps, till roads gave shimmering streams of hot concrete. But even though everything below us became small, I could still see it in startling detail, especially anything that moved like prey, cats, dogs, mice, birds. Look, Tobias, I saw a flight of geese. I saw them above us. They're going the same direction, moving in a tight V formation. Let's catch them, I cried. Tobias laughed. Yeah, right. See the way they fly? They never stop. They're like machines. They can fly hundreds of miles. You ever watch a dog try and catch a passing car? That's what it'd be like us trying to catch geese. He was right. They just kept power flying. Soon they were way past us. How long do we get to the dry lands? Rachel asked. A long time, Tobias said. We're getting some great altitude. That'll help. You know, now think about it. Why don't they ever just... Well, I guess getting geese isn't exactly easy, but if they could just get any geese, they could just get one for all of them, and they could just do that, and they'd be in formation, could stay close to each other and everything. Ah, well. Anyway. This would be so cool, Marco said. Zone 91 will penetrate very hard the government conspiracy to cover up alien visitors. Oh, yo, hello, Kirby. Marco, just how dumb are you, Marco and Rachel asked? You know about real aliens. We don't know like E.T. or those guys you would see in alien books. You know the real ones, those are on kidnapping backwoods goobers and doing medical experiments on them. Maybe there's two different bunches of aliens. Maybe these are aliens who crash land in the 50s, plus the Yeerks more recently. Yeah, right, Agent Mulder, Rachel grumbled. Earth's in the crossroads of very passing aliens. They're McDonald's next to the highway of the galaxy. It's okay, Kirby. They argued on for a while, and after the first time I noticed in my life, it gotten weird. I was flying a mile up, listening to thought-speak debate between a bald eagle and osprey over the existence of aliens. Good grief. After a while, I tuned them out, and it's very quiet in the high air. No noise from the ground. None. Sometimes you hear the engines of a jet flying by 5 miles further up. Mostly you hear the soft rushing of wind over feathers and the sound of your own wings beating. We used to altitude the first thermal, jump from thermal to thermal. We fly on one of the general vortex of warm air, descend to the next and let it rises again. After a while, I saw the roads going fewer and fewer, the houses thinned out, the gas stations were miles apart. I saw cows and sheep sitting around in random patterns far below. Then even the cows and sheep left behind the last homes and businesses. Below us, the ground was dry, covered in yellow grass, marked out by barbed wire fences. So I said, hey, check out that sign, the one by the dirt road. I am at Osprey Vision read, Stop! Government property, restricted area. Authorized personnel only beyond this point. All others are subject to arrest and persecution. This means you. I guess it's the beginning of the famous Zone 91, I said. Friendly, aren't they, Rachel said. You're trying to conceal a vast government conspiracy behind alien spacecraft, you'd be paranoid too, Marco said. I'm not sure he's joking or not, it's hard to tell, Marco. But it is still a military area, so yeah, I imagine he'd be paranoid regardless. We could see at the base called Zone 91, it was a cluster of SWAT unattractive buildings all looked like they'd been built 40 years ago. There were three very large buildings with aircraft hangars, and there's an airstrip, but I could also see lots of vehicles, trucks, Humvees, even tanks. And there are horses just scouring, sauntering for the base like it wasn't there. Marco, I know a lady you'd love, Rachel muttered. Her name's Crazy Helen. Crazy because she sounds like you. Let's look for those horses, Jess said. I think that's a place to start. The phone-using horses, I said. Horse controllers. So I said, made a doubt he doubted the whole thing. We did see a year crawl the horse's ear, Rachel said defensively, and we did almost get fried by a drink on beam. You didn't see the bug fire though, and with exactly human eyes, who can tell if his ear slug or just a plain old snake? Now to become human again, I can really remember how blind humans are. I can't believe you don't believe us, Tobias, Rachel complained. I didn't say I don't believe you, just said it doesn't make sense. Why do I want to invest in skanky wild horses? I don't know, I admit, but I know what I saw. There, Rachel said, a bunch of horses by our waterhole. Maybe that's them. I remained sharply left and head toward. There were half a dozen mares, two gangly colts, one big stallion who stood up himself on a slight rise. The stallion sniffed the breeze, head high. That's not them, I said. How do you know? Because they're acting like horses, and they have colts. The stallions behave like a stallion, the horses we want won't act that way. Okay, well, you guys need to deem north, Tobias said, nearly this 2-hour limit. There's some rocks over there. He'll have shade and privacy. We have no rocks and land. There's just a pile of rocks like any other jumble of boulders. Except we overlooked one vital fact. They're on the far side of the sign. The sign that said, "This means you." Chapter 8. We flew down the rocks in Demark. It was a nice little enclosure with tall round boulders all around and clean dry sand under our feet. We're complete hidden rain coming from any direction. So as came to rest beside us as Mark where Rachel and I turned to our human forms. Of course, as always we came out of morphing suits and barefoot. The sun beat down, we're mostly in the shade. The warm breeze blew and whistled beneath the rocks. "All you need now is a picnic lunch," Margaret said. "Tobias, go rustle up some juicy rats and toads." "No need," Tobias said coolly. "Just eat that snake you're sitting on." "Ah!" Marco screamed. He leapt to his feet and slapping us behind frantically. A small black snake slid away from the pocket of warm sand he'd been sitting on. "I'm bit! I'm gonna die! A rattler bit my butt!" "It's not a rattler, and he didn't bite you, just a harmless bull snake." "No snake is harmless, but keep your hog eyes open in case a rattler does come for me." "I'll protect your butt from snake bite, Marco," Tobias said solemnly. "Let's just morph backwards," said. "We'll need to rest. I feel fine." "There's no rush, is there?" I asked. "Morphing is tiring. Where's your house? I'm trying to morph very quickly, no rest, but there's not the best way to do it. You'll feel more energized if you have to wait if you wait a little." She shrugged. "Nah, no rush." She stretched up on her toes and looked around at the boulders. The sound of the wind caught her hair and blew in her face, like some sort of steamroll western. Her guys up there in the rocks hiding from the bad guys. All we need is 6 guns and rifles. Click. What the? Click, click. At first the sound I heard in real life, and I'd heard it on TV 1,000 times. The sound of guns being cocked. I looked upward and there was pointing straight at our heads with a black muzzle automatic rifle. So busy staring at the guns, 2 fists, I didn't even realize there were people holding the weapons. There were helmets covered in camouflage fabric, desert-style camouflage in shades of tan and beige. The uniforms were desert camouflage too, and their faces were not friendly. One of the soldiers stood up and put his hands on his hips. "Okay, now, here's what we're gonna do. 3 of you gonna lie down, face down in the sand, place your hands behind your heads, fingers laced together." I thought, 3 of us? Of course they thought Tobias the Hawk. "Well, we're not doing anything," Rachel protested. "I'm pretty much like I remember her saying years ago when her mom would catch us rifling through the closet." "You have illegally entered a restricted government facility," the man said, "and you're in for a world of hurt. Sergeant, searching for weapons or contraband. Someone chase away that hawk there. He's staring at me." "Yes, sir, Lieutenant." "You guys just go alone and Tobias open his wings and fly up. We'll keep an eye out for you. Just play dumb." "You heard him, Marco," Rachel whispered. "Be yourself." Naturally, Rachel's completely unafraid, but then she's never afraid. And I was afraid because I'm sane like Rachel. The soldiers leaped down from the rocks into the surges. We lay face down in the sand. It was quick. We were wearing working outfits. "Alright, get up. Put on your shoes." I winced. "Shoes? We'd never be able to explain this." "No shoes, sir," the sergeant said. I saw a frown on his face. "Now, wait a minute. It's a couple of miles back in the road. How'd you get without shoes? For that matter, I ain't been a car down the road all day. How'd you get here at all?" I looked at Rachel. Rachel to Marco. Marco over here and said, "It was the Martians, Lieutenant. We were dropped here by aliens." Honestly, whatever explanation do they have. Alright. Chapter 9. My name is Captain Torelli. I'm in charge of security for this facility. We're in a very small, airless, bright room. There are no windows. Whenever a door opened, you saw a guy in an Air Force uniform. A tough-looking guy in an Air Force uniform. A tough-looking guy trailing a small machine gun. There's also a bulletin board with a small poster reminding everyone that security is our business and exhorting everyone to tolerate 0 defects. Exhorting. There's also another slightly more familiar caught my eye. One of the flyers for the gardens. The gardens is a big combination amusement park and zoo where my mom was in one of the vets. Below the flyer's a sign-up sheet bearing a lot of names. "Hi, Captain," Marcus said. "How's it going?" The captain glanced at the lieutenant who just picked us up. He shrugged. "Now look, kids, maybe you don't realize it, but you're in trouble." "Yes, sir, we realized we made a big mistake." I said. "It was totally nice. We didn't know there's anything back here in Drylands, and boy, we'll never come back again if you let us go, that's for sure." I smiled instantly and nudged Rachel. She smiled instantly too. I prayed that Marco get a clue and smile so we could just... "So where do you keep the alien?" Marco asked. So much from getting a clue. He pressed lips tight together and they turned pale. "Now look, kid, this is an Air Force installation. We don't discuss what we do here, but I'm authorized to tell you one thing. There are no aliens here." "Yeah, right, sir," he snorted. "What's your name, son?" Mulder. Fox Mulder." "Well, you're in for a world of hurt, Fox Mulder. You violated federal law. You could be thrown in prison." "Sir," I interrupted, "please just ignore Fox." "Yeah, he's an idiot," Rachel added. "He just likes to annoy people. We're just kids, you know. We don't mean any harm. Couldn't you just give us a warning?" "A very stern warning, even," Rachel agreed. "Well, normally that's just what we do. We do get a share of Looney Tunes and crackpots out here." He looked directly at Marcus and said crackpots. "But we happen to have ourselves a little mystery here. See, none of you is wearing shoes. Lieutenant's been searching the area, no shoes. And it is physically impossible to have walked all the way through the undergrowth through those rocks without shoes." So, we're busted for not having shoes, Rachel asked. Well, what's the big deal, Sir Marcus? If you have an alien, why not just tell everyone? Captain gave Marco a long stare. I want the three of you to write down your names and your parents' phone numbers on this piece of paper. We're gonna call your folks. He showed a clipboard of Marco. Maybe they'll appreciate your sense of humor. I watched as Marco Shorzy wrote down Fox Mulder, passed it and followed it by a phone number. Rachel identified herself as Dana Scully. That was my turn. I drew a total blank. I don't really watch X-Files. Staring at the hell of a pen and paper. What name? What name? Don't you know your own name? Sure, it's Cindy. That's it. Cindy Crawford. He stared at me, the Rachel stared at me. I wrote down a name, a trembling hand, and wrote some random numbers. The two officers left. There's a loud click from the lock closing. Cindy Crawford? Marco demanded. What are you, nuts? Me? What about you? Every guy in the country knows who Cindy Crawford is. We had a guy here fast, Rachel said. I gave him the phone number for Pizza Hut delivery. Pfft. I gave him the number for sports scoreboard recording, Marco said. I gave him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I said. You gave him 8 numbers? Remind me not to ever be a spy with you. Now how do we get out of here? I could morph into a grizzly ant. No, I cried. These are good guys. As far as we know, they're not Yerks. They can't hurt anyone. We need something small to get beneath the door. I say a housefly. I hate doing flies, Rachel muttered. Ant? No way. Cockroach? She nodded. Okay, I'll do cockroach. Rachel looked at her mystified. Flies gross you out, but roaches don't? But we'd already begun morphing. He had to hurry to keep up. By the time the door, this time the floor didn't rise. Yeah. This time the floor didn't rise toward us, it leaped, and the changes didn't involve a gentle, rather lovely transformation of skin to feathers. This time it started from with Marco with antennae. 2 large spiky antennae just shot straight out of his forehead. For Rachel, changed again to the legs, the middle pair, the ones that grew right out of her chest. Ah, I yelled, I knew I expect more or less. Still seeing a tiny up her friend's head and hairy, articulated legs from her best friend's chest is gross. But one note to really focus on too much because I was distracted by the fact that 1 foot squares of linoleum now looked as big as the front lawn. And if I could hear the sound of every bone in my body dissolving to mush, and by the fact that my skin was turning hard and smooth. Sport? Legs popped out of my chest. Sport? And time presumed out of my head. My own legs shriveled. I fell forward. I stuck my hands out to catch myself, but I no longer had them. I changed my mind, Mark. Rachel started to say jokingly whatever she wanted to say next was lost because her pretty human face turned hard and bronze, and her mouth split into clicking parts of a roach. What I was going to say is I changed my mind. Roaches are grosser than flies, Rachel said. That's why I have vibrations, heavy vibrations of footsteps. Angry footsteps. It took some practice to use roaches willing to understand speech. We had practice though to hear the camera saying, Pizza Hut, eh? I'll show a little monster some Pizza Hut. Move it, boys and girls. Rachel cried, getting enthusiasm always having faced certain death. Raid, Marco yelled. Real funny, Marco. Real funny, I muttered. Can we get the heck out of here? Air movement, vibration, wind, a sense of humans. The door opened, it swept over our heads, we motored our 3 pairs of legs, and we were out. Chapter 10. Zoom, we blew across highly polished linoleum squares. My 6 legs motored and standing on my tiny weight wildly. Every coverage instinct screaming, run, run, run! So we ran. Not that we had any idea where to run. Where are we going? Marco yelled. How would I know? Rachel cried. Head for daylight, I screamed. How would I tell that from plain old lights? I don't know. I try to think how a Rachel know the difference between daylight and plain old interior lights. Of course, Rachel is startled and scared by lights. The brighter the light, the scarier it be. Run toward whatever scares your roach brain the worst, I yelled. Oh, swell, stupid bug brain's already scared to death. Vibrations, lots of them, big, heavy, earth-shaking vibrations. For the muddy, fractured near side, Richness saw or at least felt massive things fell from the sky, like someone was dropping trucks all around me. Footsteps, shoes the size of double-wide trailers. Look out, people are walking on us, Marco yelled. A monster killer shooting out from the sky and slammed on the floor just an inch ahead of me, but the roach brain just reacted in time. It knew how to not get stepped on. Let the roaches handle this, roach brains are good for this. My rich body scuttled out of the way, barely avoiding the side of a heel that was squished me flat and dead in a split second. Daylight, I think I see daylight, Rachel cried. Lead on, Daylight proceeded to rage morph ahead of me, and Marco was just beside me, altogether free scared as heck roaches blew through in the bright light. Suddenly there's a ridge, pretty high to me, and it was probably not even an inch high. There's a transom of a doorway, I realized. I knew one thing, I really wanted out of that building. Tobias, I called out, can you hear me? Are you up there? Yeah, where are you, and what are you? We lost cockroaches in a big hurry. Got you, Tobias said. Thank goodness it was Hawkeye, as Rachel said. Now let's get out of here. Keep moving, try to stick together. By the way, it's a column going away, a column of vehicles? Some of the way he said vehicles should have alerted me. All I could think was getting close to Marco and Rachel's device can pick us up. We're in concrete now, moving slower. When your buck-sized concrete doesn't look smooth, it looks like you're running across an endless field of small boulders. Concrete kind of glitters. At least that's how I looked at my coverage senses. Another thing is, at least concrete with the sun being down. Another thing about concrete, at least with the sun being down, it's hot. I'm gonna fry, Marco wailed. Oh man, so I didn't think bucks would feel temperature this much. Tobias, hurry up, we're getting barbecued. I don't think it would kill them, at least not quickly, but suddenly a shadow swooped down to fight the urge of panic and run. Three huge, rough textured talons came hurling down at amazing speed. The nails scraped across the concrete. One talon looked beneath me and lifted me up and up. Red-tailed airlines, Marco yelled. No more heat, no more concrete. Up in the air, wind whipping. Ah! I was falling. He lost grip on me. I was falling, spiraling, tumbling through the air. How far I fell, I couldn't see. My morph couldn't see my burn a few inches. It seems I was falling a long while. Cassie's by shield. Falling. Cassie, Rachel echoed. What about Cassie? Marco asked. I dropped her. Poof! I hit the ground. Dirt built up around me. I slammed into it, but I wasn't hurt. I was on my back. My legs pawed madly at the air. How do you turn these things over? I asked, with ominous thundering rumbling on the ground. Cassie, I see you, by shield. I'm coming for her, but Cassie, you have to move. I can't make it in time. You have to move now. There's someone reassuring. What's happening? It's that column, Cassie. It's coming right at you. Column what? Troops? Soldiers? No. Tanks. And that's when I realized it wasn't thunder I was feeling. That's not good. Chapter 11. Cassie moved, Tobias cries. He plummeted toward me with a full-speed stoop. I'm moving. I'm on my roach legs like a roach caught in a sink. But I was pawing the air and thunder more and thunder now as the continuous non-stop explosion. Wings! Wait, roaches have wings. All I do is... Too late. Cassie! Something blew out to somehow. My roach body pressed in the dirt. It seemed to last forever. The pressure was unbelievable. And yet... Suddenly I was off the ground, but not free. I was stuck to the tread of a tank, going slowly around as the tread came around toward the front again. I scattered my legs again, but now two of them were not moving. I was stuck face up on a dirty treadmill. I would not survive another crushing. I tried my left wing, no good. I tried my right wing, yes. I looked over, landed my 4 good feet, turned sharp left, and ran like a lunatic off the edge of the tread. Zoom! I fell as I hit the dirt, and I ran without even thinking about stopping. So I slipped out the ground. I was running with my 4 good legs still. So I didn't think Marcus didn't think the whole thing was funny, of course. He laughed for 10 straight minutes as Tobias flew away from Zone 91, and when he laughed, Tobias apologized. Tobias set us down outside the boundaries of the secret base. We door from a gully followed by a small stream. Are you okay, Rachel asked me? It's when she and Marco were out hewing again. Considering us running over a tank? Yes, I'm okay. Marco grinned. I wish I could see a look on Captain Troy's face and realized we all disappeared. Rachel punched Marco in the arm. You moron, why do you keep provoking about alien talk? He wouldn't let us go. Actually, Marco said with no trace of his usual attitude, he wouldn't let us go till he contacted our parents, and we couldn't do that, now could we? So I provoked him because now we'll just rise off as a bunch of deluded wackos. And if we seem perfectly sensible, he'd really wonder what we're doing here with no shoes. Rachel glared at him suspiciously, but I knew Marco was right. Like I said, Marco's a clown, but he's not dumb. So now what, Rachel asked? It's getting late when you get home. You guys should morph as soon as you get ready. I'll be cooling down soon. Fewer thermals means harder flying. I'm starting to feel like an idiot. I was only seeing most concerned with the idea of yerks and horses. We learned nothing. All we should go do is tame a military police and all squished by a tank. Rachel has been preparing to shrug up the whole horse thing. She halfway doubted we really did see a yerk crawl at that horse. The others are more skeptical. They see their point. Our real problem is yerks thing over humans. If they want to experiment controlling horses, that's pretty low priority. I hear something, Tobias said. He was perched on a twisted, gnarled piece of dried up wood. Everyone down, hide till I see what it is. He flapped his wings, took off his marker, Rachel and crawled under a bush. Unfortunately, it's a thorny one. Oh, well, this is fun, Marco muttered softly. It's just some horses, it's okay. Marco started crawling from hiding. I grabbed his arm. No, wait! How about the horses climbed stiffly but down the side of a gully heading toward the water, to led by a gray stallion. See, horses, now get this thorn out of my butt? I shook my head and put my finger to my lips. I watched horses climb down, looked closely for anything that looked unusual. But they sure looked like any old horses. 4 of them lowered their big heads to drink, a 5th stood guard. The 6th was a very nice looking roan, also because she come from thoroughbred stock. The mare paused me behind the horse, saying guard seemed to be whispering in his ear, and suddenly, plop, 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 plop. The horse is going to do what horses do, if you know what I mean. That horse is taking a dump, Marco whispered. Thanks for pointing out, Beavis, Rachel said. We wouldn't have noticed without you. Horse patties. Prairie patties. Heh. That does it. I'm not sharing a bush with... Shh! Look! Look! So Mason, the horse who was pooping, stopped. The others looked at her and neighed. I swear they were laughing. Then the horse in question walked away, moving behind a tree outside the horses and finished their business. A modest horse, I said smugly. Rachel nodded. Yeah, that seems a little weird. Wait till the horse finished drinking and moved on. So I slid down and landed beside us. I crawled one of the brambles and brushed myself off. I'd never seen a horse hide behind a tree to do her business, said to Marco and Tobias. Are you satisfied? These are not normal horses. It does tell us that Yerks do have a sense of humor, though. I mean, I guess we knew that, because we've had Visitor laughing evilly quite a lot. But it does show they do have a sense of humor about different things. Chapter 12. The next day was Saturday. We met at the barn. How do you spy on horse controllers? How do you observe the actions of a group of horses with yerks in their heads? That was the question. And more horses, of course, I said as I pried open the jaw of the fox who had been eyeing me hungry as an osprey the day before. I popped the pill in his mouth, held it shut, and blew on his nose to make him swallow. Horses? Didn't you morph a horse once? Jake asked me. Yes, I morphed one of our horses. It was amazing. We had a problem. We only have one horse here right now. She has very distinctive markings. Can't go walking around looking identical. Identical horses, Mark amused. Sweet Valley horses. That could be a TV show. Yeah, horses dump mounds. Saw on my way to an exploratorium once. Yeah, that makes sense. They're pretty big. They eat a lot. I guess we want to call them patties. Anyway. We're all together, all six of us including Axe. Axe and his human morph. Once kind of struck by how weirdly handsome he was. It's strange how you can see little hints of Rachel, Marco, Jake, and me and him. There are some expressions, sometimes he smiled for us, like he's looking in a mirror and seeing a male me. It was very creepy. Horses. Horses, Axe said. Marco spread his hands wide, palm up. Is that it, Axe? Furthermore, your comments. Horses are quadrupeds, Axe said. Much more sense to walk around perched on two rickety legs like humans. Rickety. Is that a funny word? Yeah, rickety's hysterical, Rachel said. So where do I find 6 different horses for us to morph? The gardens, I suggested? I caused Fox occasion wipe my hands on my jeans. Now all I have at the gardens are exotic horse breeds. I want horses who look like horses. Mention that made me remind me of the sign-up sheet at the base. Should I mention it? No, it probably wasn't important. Also, horse medicine is not for humans. Yeah, that's kind of why they're different species. I feel like that should go without saying. I'm sure someone would be stupid about it, but, you know, I trust all of you aren't. Right. How about one of the farmers around here, Jake suggested? I sure had. Everyone out here knows me if they walked in on us. The racetrack, Rachel said. They have tons of horses out there. Here's a couple dozen. I got in there on my dad last week. In fact, there's a guy. This idea of a cool place to take his daughters on visitation day. Did he let you bet? My dad plays for me $2 and chased me Charlie's show. He came in second. I won $3. I stare at my friend. You think you know everything, and instantly you find out something new. Humans bets on horses to see which is faster. What do you bet? Axe asked. Money. What else? Money. Ah, yes, money. I always hear about humans and their money. Yeah, exactly, Tech. And Jake looked at his watch. He's getting slightly exasperated looking at sometimes no one's taking the business. Okay, look, we go to the track. No one bets. We acquire some horse seed and then we fly to the dry land spy on the modest horses. Modest horses. Again, Marco moaned. We do it every Saturday. Why can't we do something original? Can I ask one question, Unity? I said, why would they be taking our body of horses? Good question, Jake said. It has to be on Zone 91. I mean, what is it, a coincidence? It may be, but not the way you think, Marco suggested. Who knows what the Air Force is really doing out there? Maybe they're testing some new super weapon. Axe laughed. A human weapon to frighten the Yerks? That isn't possible. Possible. I felt a little insulted on behalf of the human race, but Axe was probably right. Look, I don't see what the Yerks care about some kind of alien shit that might be hidden out there. It's nuts, unless maybe they don't know if this stupid conspiracy is true or not. I have to confess I don't understand what you are talking about. However, the Yerks would know if there's anything non-human on this planet's surface. Their sensors would do analysis of alloys. After all, they're not exactly in a level androids, so they're not primitive. They'd be able to detect the presence of alloys, plastic composites, or live metals, the sort of things spaceships are built from. You know, Axe doesn't mean to sound kind of the same, but sometimes he ends up sounding away all the same. Of course, they did kind of spoil the whole Mr. Spock Commander Data thing by saying things like, is wood tasty? Is it good to eat? Yeah, but you want to use plenty of salt, Marco replied. And Jake looked troubled. You know, it'd be really bizarre to conspiracy things trying to be true. I mean, what if the government really was hiding some alien spacecraft at Zone 91? What is a Zone 91? For one thing, I have to apologize to Marco, Rachel said. For another, maybe whatever they're hiding out there at Zone 91 could be used to penetrate the secrets of your technology. Well, I guess I better find out, Jake said. First off, the racetrack. And what exactly is a racetrack, Axe said. Exactly. Guy took his Horka electrolytes for his fatigue. Salt poison gave him a seizure, almost killed him. Yeah. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea then. Like, I guess maybe you just didn't know it was a horse medicine. Like, I guess that's possible. They look similar. I mean, like, for instance, Cassie's giving a pill to that fox a bit ago, so hypothetically a human could probably ingest the same thing. There's no reason to make them look specifically different or have a different texture or whatever. Unless they're like their teeth don't work with the sort of pills we have, but anyway. Chapter 13. It wasn't too far on the racetrack, we decided to fly. No, we knew us, but they got the idea from Joe Rogan. It wasn't too far on the racetrack, we decided to fly. We all had seagull more set for access to bias. Figured seagulls would be too obvious flying around the racetrack barns and paddocks, whereas an entire sky full of birds of prey might be, so we had more seagulls. Access Harrier and Tobias say Tobias. Flying a seagull is the same thing as flying an osprey in most ways, so in some ways it's very different. You have to flap a lot more, you fly close to the ground, their brains are a totally different way of looking at the world than a bird of prey. Seagulls are scavengers. We flapped up and away from the barn, working our sharp-eyed, swept-back white and gray wings. Tobias and Axe soared far ahead, watching the sky for other predators, but for 4 of us seagulls, the trip was all one long garbage dump. Look, a Butterfinger wrapper. I bet there's some left. Look at that Burger King dumpster. It's loaded with french fries and leftover burger. Ooh, cheese puffs. No way someone threw out a half-eaten chicken leg. Crispy. Wouldn't that almost be cannibalism? Didn't we have this discussion before? If it's extra crispy, I love extra crispy. Chickens are a different species, but they are still birds. I don't know. Like, I guess it depends on if, like, humans eating other primates counts as cannibalism. If it doesn't, I guess a seal eating a chicken would also count. Not that I doubt birds will care very much, generally. Anyway, now yes, we have struggled hard to control seagull mental obsession on anything approaching food, but it would have been hard, and the whole truth is kind of fun. Seagulls spot food you wouldn't even think of. You'd be amazed that people just throw away. Look, there's a Papa John's pepperoni. Anyway, we did make it to the racetrack without actually pausing a scorpion in the garbage. Aw. Honestly, I think the seagull is my favorite morph in all these books. Just like, I love the idea of just seeing food everywhere and being able to eat it without any repercussions. Like, if I could just eat people's garbage and I wouldn't be any issue with it, I probably would. But the problem is I know I get sick. I probably get extremely sick because who knows what's in their mouths. But since they just morph into something else, then the food is probably gone and their digestive tract is intact and there's no issues. They just get to taste it. And yes, seagulls will eat anything. Frankly, if I could turn into a seagull and do that, I probably would. Even if it doesn't make me unhungry later. Like, maybe if it doesn't satisfy me later because of how their digestive tracts work. I don't think they ever clarified that. But either way, I think that'd be kind of neat. It'd just be fun. Plus, you clean up trash, so you're technically doing the world a service. Anyway, now, okay, I read that part. From near the track was one big long dirt oval outline with a white rail fence. There was a high covered grandstand on one side and a very long narrow horse barn standing behind the stands. The parking lot was about half full of cars, trucks pulling horse trailers. There's a good crowd of people up in the seats and milling around behind the track itself. Out in the middle of the oval track is a big electronic tote board, already posted the odds to the first race. You would see a good place to demorph, Rachel asked. There must be some empty stalls in the barn, so I suggested. Try and fly in and land. Or I could check out the trash behind the clubhouse, Margaret suggested. Seagulls, Spice sneered. You might as well be pigeons. Hey. I guess the hawk calling someone a pigeon is a pretty bad insult. We swooped low and fast on the back wall of our yarn. The stalls are two long rows opening out to the outside on one side and out to a long connecting hallway on the other. Sure enough, how the stalls are empty. I turn a sharp left, seagulls turn amazingly fast, and zoom, straight into the open stall door. I land dirty hay. Looks okay in here. Zoom, 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 zoom. The earth flew and landed near me. And demorph feels easy, no problem. There's just one difficulty we overlooked. When you demorph, you turn to normal body. For Rachel and Jake and Mark or me, that meant human, but for Rax, that meant an Andalite. That could be an issue. Okay, everyone, demorph, Jake said. Tobias, you want to have a human or stay as you are? I have to stay and talk to you and acquire a horse. In fact, when you guys demorph, go ahead and try and find one I like. See, if you have to be in your original body and you acquire a new morph, and sad as it may be, a red-side hawk is now Tobias' true body. He will lock keeping his wings tight in the narrowness of the barn. I began to demorph, and I swept back my wings through fingers. My tiny legs spread up and up. My yellowish beak softened and become lips. One thing's unclear, 4 kids and I were kind of crowded in a single stall. There was about 90% human, access 90% animal. I suddenly got warning if I was staring at 2 old men. One was chewing at the end of a slobber cigar near the stall door. What are you kids doing in that stall? What in the name all holy is that? There's seen 4 kids to be wearing leotards decorated in feathers. One really unusual creature like nothing I'd ever seen before. Axe, keep your head down, I hiss. I leave it in between the 2 old men and Axe's tail. In case you've never seen one before, and obviously you haven't, let me explain. Andalite looks like a weird cross between a deer, horse, scorpion, and human. They have bodies slender horses are large deer, except that their fur is blue and tan. Their bodies seem almost human until you get to the head, which is totally not human and you never mistake it. Like I said earlier, Andalites have no mouths. They eat by absorbing grass over their hooves as they run. They communicate telepathically their thoughts speak. And there's the whole eye thing. They have 4 of them. 2 are right where you expect. The other 2 are in flexible stalks atop their heads. You know, little horn-like things giraffes have? Picture those, but flexible. And with an eyeball on the back on the end. And finally it's a tail, its long ends, a scythe-like blade at the top of a tree faster than you can see. The tails I was trying to hide, don't have to access sense keep our body lowered. Now I asked you kids what you're doing in that stall, CR man more sharply. Grooming our horse, I offered. Rachel's eyebrows shut up. Our horse? Yeah, exactly what we're doing. Yeah, grooming our horse. Rachel shook Axe's back. Small for a horse. What are you feeding that poor sway back nag? Horse food, Marcus said. Horse food? Yeah, you know, like horse food. Well, you can see how many cans they need all day long, opening cans of horse food and filling his dish. Psh. They stared. Cigar man moved a cigar to the other side of his mouth. He's such a kid, I screamed. Of course they are feeding a horse food from cans. We feed him alfalfa and hay like you feed any horse. My friend's such a joker. Total joke machine. Place is a moron, Rachel had. Your horse is blue, second man observed. Never seen a blue one. Never seen kids wearing feathers on their face either, Cigar said. I've seen a lot of things in my time. Jacob's looking at me, we become an answer, and so is Rachel, so is Mark. Our horse is blue, there's no denying that. And yes, we had white and gray feathers, sticking out sleeves and collars or morphing outfits. We We like blue horses, said lamely. Yeah, someday all horses will be blue, Jake agreed. You kids step out of there, this ain't right, any part as I step out of there and let me see what... I felt rather than saw a twitch that ran for X by. Axe, no, I yelled. Flap! He struck with his deadly tail, but not the men. Let's have a second. He sliced the overhead railing and framed a stall. He sliced the rear in two places. The railing, a chunk of 8x8 lumber, fell directly on their heads. Ow! Run, Jake cried. We stumbled over and piled over two groaning men, 4 kids and a very strange blue horse. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a flash of brown and rusted feathers. I'll leave you guys alone for 2 minutes, Tobias said. What have you done? Get them! Stop those kids! We were off and racing behind between his stalls. Axe was morphing into a human as he ran. I was finishing my demorph, losing the last of my feathers. Inside the barn, crowds of people were milling around, waiting for the first race. Get out there into the grandstand, and so we lose souls in the crowd. And then wham! A stalwart flew up and right in front of me, cut me off from the others. I dodged around, was too slowly. Someone grabbed my ankle, I sprawled face down on the concrete. Cassie, Jake yelled. He started to step right back at me. Now there were more people pouring in. Stable hands, jockeys, horse trainers, and owners all worried about what I had done to their horses. I looked down. There was some teenager who got my ankle. I got one of them, he yelled. I didn't want to kick him. Didn't want to hurt him. He was just a guy, probably not a controller. I got this one. I got this guy. Guy? Excuse me, guy? I wasn't even wearing overalls. Maybe the workout suit I was wearing for morphing is less than stylish, but guy? Now I wanted to kick him. I kicked his hand loose. Sorry, I said and my feet, looked at him frankly. No Jake, no Rachel, no Max, Tobias, or Marco. All I saw was the back end of a small mob chasing someone around the fall in the barn. I was trying to fall and teach her herself into a stall. Take it easy, boy, whispered a big golden sound in the stall. Take it easy. Easy. Normally animals love me, but this one didn't. He started neighing. I had 2 choices: get out of the stall and be catcher, or stay in the stall and get trampled. I chose number 3. When you acquire an animal's DNA, I put them in kind of a trance. They remain very calm, which is how impossible to acquire a grizzly bear, for instance. So I pressed both hands against the podium flank of the big horse and focused my mind. He grew calm and quiet, and his DNA flowed into making part of me. Incidentally, we never saw how Rachel got her grizzly... Actually, I'm not sure we did see how she got a grizzly bear or not. No, yeah, we did, because she got in the middle of one of the books. That's right. Anyway. While I'm still in this barn somewhere, I heard a voice say, well, if they won't be conspicuous a horse farm, what are you going to do? Exactly, I'm morphed into a horse. Chapter 5. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Heard a drum announcing the start of the race, heard a crowd inside the grandstand murmuring anticipation, but I heard things in my mind. I moved a horse for, but so I thought I knew exactly what to expect, but it wasn't just any horse. It was a racehorse, high-strung, aggressive, and just a little bit mean. Search every stall, a voice cried. Who knows what these kids been doing to the horses? It turned one horse blue. I'll make it fast, the first race already started. Her stall was open and closed near far into the barn. I had 2 minutes, maybe. I started to morph, and the first thing happened was the ears. My human ears sort of crawled to the side of my head and the top. They spread, no big deal. I mean, no big deal when you're used to it. You weren't expecting your ears suddenly start crawling to the side of your head while getting long and pointy. You'd probably think it was a pretty big deal. My body began to change very quickly. My butt grew huge. I had mega butt. My knees suddenly reversed direction, a loud sickening grinding noise. My calves were stretching out longer and longer. They practically had any meat, just long bones covered in golden fur. The fur rippled up my body, across my legs, down my arms, down my back, and chest. Which I didn't enjoy that part because it felt nice. The horse had soft, smooth, and beautiful golden coat. My arms started growing. The upper arm was bulged with massive bunch of muscles, all the muscles at the top. The bottom was practically a stick. As I watched my fingers melt together, it was like I made of wax and put in an oven. They just melted. Ah! I yelled. For a brief moment I seen the fleshless bones in my fingers. Not something you want to see, trust me. They're bright white. I saw my fleshless knuckles. I heard something down there. Just keep searching. No one's getting out of this barn. I fell forward and no longer understand my legs. Forward, just the bare bones. My fingers melted together and hardened into hooves. Clump. My front hooves hit the ground. Now the horse, the real one, started to get very worried. He come out of his acquiring funk and I realized something was very wrong was happening right next to him in his own stall. It's okay, boy, I started whispering. As I started the word okay, my entire face exploded outward. My own nose got shown just up and left and moved away, far away, spreading a muzzle a foot long, more than that. My nose grew so monstrous huge it forced my eyes apart. It was incredible. My eyes would have been an inch apart, or like any normal person's eyes sprang further and further. And so I found my field of vision growing wider, and then it was too wide. My eyes were staring out the sides of my head. My eyes are where my temples should be. Just feeling my head? That is... Anyway... In between their eyes was a nose the size of Rhode Island. My nose had stretched out so far I dragged my mouth along for the trip. I heard an awful growling grinding on my own head. My teeth itched, replaced by flat teeth of a horse. I was almost completely a horse, and somewhere way back about a tail sprout like a hyperactive weed. Okay, now I was done. The real horse stared at me from one big watery eye. Sniffed me. What it smelled was... nothing. At least according to horse brain. The horse and our animals are lying and smelling, not equipped for the idea they can smell another horse have it smell exactly like them. It would mean like a human, it'd be like the human finds himself face to face with a person who's identical, only horses aren't exactly geniuses. They can't make sense of it. So weirdly enough, his reaction calmed down as if I wasn't there. And shifting was I felt the horse bring me awake and bubble up, and I felt the same way with the air horse. It's like, what other horse? That's interesting in my opinion that they react that way. I don't imagine most other creatures react that way, so I'm curious that would be how a horse reacts. I don't know. I tested the horse's senses. Good hearing, good smell, but the eyesight was a mess. I was nearsighted, but far worse was that I was staring opposite direction at the same time. My eyes looked left and right. I had no depth perception in those directions. I couldn't really tell if anything on my left was 2 feet away or 5 feet. If you had put 2 sticks to the ground, probably couldn't have told you which was closer. I remember someone doing like some sort of weird test or something where they had horses do math or something with sticks. I wonder if this would dig at that. Ah well. I'll do the stretch and hydrate, thank you. Alright. But directly ahead of me, there's a zone where my eyes overlapped. Only there I had binocular vision like a human and hawk would have. I could see in depth and not only in the area right in front of me. It was strange what a disturbance level of energy this big horse had, like every muscle in my body was getting an electric jolt. It was a power plant. I was a power plant of pure energy, but something uncontrollable. I felt hunger, but not the raving hunger of our species. It felt edgy, conservative, like a sane, mighty, fear of a small mouse or squirrel. I can handle this. I just one thing to do. I have to get out of the stall and out of the barn and morph back and find the ears. Okay, 3 things to do. There's no way to be subtle about it. I stuck my big golden head out of the stall door and did what no horse has ever been smart to do. I set the little lock to one side and pushed the stall door open. Just act normal. A normal girl has been turned to a racehorse. I stepped out and see in both directions. I saw 2 groups of steelworkers opposite ends of the barn. Okay, just walk on. One of the men froze and stared at him, rushing over. Hey, it's Minneapolis Max. He's out of his stall. Now someone's gonna catch some grief by this. Joe, grab his bridle for crying out loud. Quick, before Max starts on raising Cain. On the other side of my head, I spotted the Hinger kicked earlier. Race the stall I just left. Hey, Mr. Hickley, there's another horse exactly like. Just shut up and bring me his gear now. Yes, sir. A man named Hickley approached me slowly and carefully with good reason. The horse in me is skittish. She was a combination of scared and mad. Mad at the man, but much mad at the smaller stallions in the stalls. One in particular, his scent stuck on my nostrils and really annoyed me. I don't know what the other stallion thought he was doing on my turf, but I was ready to go hoof to hoof and show him who's boss. I waited at ear-splitting volume and screamed my challenge to combat. Hey boy, I know you're in the next race, so you decided to come out? Save that energy, big guy. That's my champion. That's my Minneapolis Max. That's what hit me. I'm no racing fan, but this name penetrated my slightly deranged consciousness and I realized I knew that name. I morphed a horse who expected to go on to win the Kentucky Derby. Come on, boy, we have a race to run. That was fine by me. I wanted to run. Chapter 16. Cassie, it's me, Tobias. I don't know if you can hear me, but you're not the only one I haven't found. If you can, give me some kind of sign. Where are you? I'm down at the track, I said. Oh, hey, you must be a morph, your thought speaking. Yes, I'm definitely a morph. Well, where are you? What are you? I'm in horse morph, Tobias. Cool, where are you? I sighed. Look at the track. See an horse being led to the starting gate? See the horse whose jockey is wearing red and green silks? Number 24? You're kidding. No, Tobias, I'm not kidding. How did this happen? It's a long story, I don't have time to tell it. I have a race to win. My jockey has barely a feather on my back and didn't bother me. I really didn't like the bit in my mouth. It was irritating, almost infuriating as a dark brown stallion once stall over. I snorted defiantly at the brown stallion. Easy, easy, a jockey said. On my right eye spotted Marco pushed away from the crowd. He waved frantically. I see you, Marco. It's okay. Don't worry. Obviously, Tobias told you here's my predicament. Who's worried, Marco yelled. I just want to know if you're going to win. I have $5 I can bet on you. Oh, funny. Very funny. My jockey janked my bridle and dug his toe into my side, and the dumb thing was I didn't know whether he wanted me to do. See, I had the instincts and had a lifelong training of professional racehorse named Minneapolis Max, so I had to actually think with my human brain. I was pretty sure he wanted me to move toward the starting gates, and so I did. The trainer was standing at the gate. Cigar man. The cigars seemed more disintegrated by slobber now. He's always balky at the gate, Cigar man, said the jockey. Oh, really? Well, I'll show them. I talked my head proudly and walked calmly down a narrow gate. Once inside I realized why I was balky, there was no room. The wooden slat walls pressed in on me from both sides. There's a trap! A trap! Run! I reared up on my front legs while I kicked the gate from my front hose and yelled at the top of my horse's lungs. Wham! Take it easy, Mac. Easy, jockey said. I was scared, at least a horse brain was. I saw the obnoxious scent in the air sound of my nose and I was mad, too. That's my excuse. I just wasn't thinking. Because when he once again told me to take it easy, it's something I shouldn't have done. Something I would have done if I hadn't been distracted. You take it easy. I'm crammed in a little box. That speaks like email. Don't go to the person who addresses you. So he did hear me. I know for a fact he did because he went, what the? Ring! Rap. I noticed that bell rang, the gate slammed open, I started running. I kicked out a big bunch of muscle in my back legs. I found my front legs had to catch myself at each stride. I exploded from the gate. It exploded. I felt the adrenaline fill my system. To my left horses, to my right horses, all running right out. Running like mad hooves, flashing, muscles flaring and releasing, manes streaming, tails bobbing, or nostrils flared wide to suck in gasping breaths. I ran the horses fade from my thoughts. I ran, it was like I was the only horse on earth. I saw a track ahead of me and that's all I care about. I just wanted to run and run for as long as there's open ground. I just knew what I've been designed to do, feeling millions of years of horse evolution. I was running, and running is what I did. Running is what I was. The jockey tried to rein me in, stir my strength and stand up in the race. Forget winning, I told him. The point's not to win, the point is to run. Though I was crowd, I didn't fall off in shock. It was left karate, gave me control. I do what horses do. I hauled hoof. Around me, taking my horse and keep from slipping, I moved in toward the whitewashed rail, cutting straight across the path with another horse. But I didn't care. I was running. Everyone else should just get out of my way. Down the back stretch, no sound my own gasping breath and pounding of my hooves, a dozen hooves on dirt. The far turn, I was tired, my lungs ached, my muscles burned. I felt every new impact of my horses on the dirt. It was time to slow down, time to rest. I saw him, the dark brown stallion. I saw him sneak up in between me and the rail. I saw him pull ahead. Don't fade on me now, talking horse, the jockey said. I saw a wild triumphant look in the stallion's eye and made my blood boil. Hang on, Mr. Jockey, we're gonna win this race. It's easier said than done. The other horse is fast, very fast, but I had something he didn't. A human brain. See, I knew the finish line was not far off. I knew I could pour less energy into running. I could override my horse instincts that told me to slow down. I stretched out my stride and powered down a track. I was ahead. He was ahead. I was ahead. He was ahead. The crowd was streaming deliriously. I saw thousands of faces, all their mouths wide open. The war just gave more energy. The finish line. Flash! The cameras went off, and zoom! I blew across the line, exactly 2 feet ahead of the other stallion. I won. I think it's the first time I ever won in any kind of athletic contest in my entire life. Here's a horse, but a victory is a victory. Chapter 17. Fortunately, between the running from stable hands and trying to find me, our group managed to acquire horse morph. We flew out in the dry lands. It was a long trip, may even go longer by fact the entire time we had the same conversation over and over. All I'm saying is think of how cool it would be, Marco Pleat. We were morph racehorses. I don't think so, Marco, Jake said. Then using our human abilities to figure out if we think we would win and put the money down. It's not happening, Marco, Rachel said. We start out betting whatever we saved, like I have $20, we bet say 3 to 1 odds before you know it. Marco, forget it, okay, it wouldn't be right. We'd have $60, but that 3 to 1 you'd have 108, but then you have 540, then 620, then 4,860. How is it you can multiply in your head like that? You better script by a math. It's a whole different thing when you're multiplying money, Marco said. A whole different thing. We repeated the conversation with small variations all the way to the dry land. Hey, Tobias said, bet we're in luck. Isn't that same bunch of horses we saw before? The modest horses, Jake said. Yeah, that's them. I remember the markings. Look at the way they move. Down below, I asked where I spied the horses there walking almost in a line like soldiers, not like wild horses at all. But along with the disciplined group of other horses, these other horses are moving normally. I think our main group of horse controllers picked a few tag-alongs. It makes sense, where horses don't know they're your control once they hook up, they're going to be part of the same herd. Look where they're heading, Marco said, right toward the base, right into Zone 91. I understood what a racetrack is now. A place a horse chase her in circles as humans scream. But what is this Zone 91 access? You were all talking about it before, but I'm still confused. You probably already know what's going on in Zone 91, Marco said darkly. Jake sighed. It's a secret base. They say it's a base where government's hiding an alien spacecraft supposedly crashed here. Who is they? Axe said. Marco is they, Rachel said. Nuts. Wackos. I forgot there's a organ in this theme. Ah well. Marco, as they were said, nuts, wackos, conspiracy theories, people go on the internet and call themselves dark truth or whatever. Ah, said Axe like he understood. Marco is right about one thing, and horses are heading directly to the base. Of course, so are the air horses. Horses not connected to the band of horse controllers. If you want to infiltrate a heavily guarded base, a better way, I mean, I saw horses wandering through the base when we were there. True, Jake said, if you want to contact a group of horse controllers, a better way to join the herd, just like the arrows did. Let's fly high up. Fly ahead, morph to horse, and join this bunch. See where they go. What they do. Power those wings, I said cheerfully, with some flying to do. All I'm saying is think how cool it would be, Marco began again. It took 10 minutes to get ahead of the horse control herd with stray tag-alongs. We had behind some rocks and morphed our horse bodies, but that's how we did so quickly. Before base security began to think someone's on the rocks. Once we morphed, I realized I had a problem. We look way too good to be scrapped old wild horses, I said. We need to roll in the dirt a little, run through brambles like we've been living out in the wild, and I'm pampered barns. By the time the horse controllers passed by, there were 6 dirty, crusty, and scruffy-looking beasts, but also the coolest-looking wild horses anyone would ever see. After all, one of us could be going on to win the Kentucky Derby. Here they come, Jake said, just try and act natural. A horse herd came only by, a couple of real horse raised like the auspicious look and sniff, but the horse controllers ignored us. I just asked my idiot horse ranger challenge the other ones to Mortal Kombat. We climbed, fell in step, not close but not too far. We walked with a slow clop of the horses right into the heart of the fabled Zone 91. Chapter 18. The whole herd of us wandered in the base. We wandered past the more intense warning signs. The last one actually said, "You may be shot." We wandered right past men and women armed with submachine guns. No one suspected horses. Of course, anyone heard what we heard next, they definitely would have been suspicious. Call us fellows. Who said that, I asked. That horse said that. Y'all him. Phil called kill him flat. That's not our horse we were trapped in a Mr. Ed rerun, Marco said. We're in the Naked Night Zone. That's Gallard, Max said. They're speaking Gallard. 2 questions. What's Gallard? Can I hear us all speak? And answer the second one first. No, they cannot hear us. Gallard is sort of universal language spoken by different races throughout the galaxy. Most people speak and come from different species and do not share a language. These horses must be fitted with speech synthesizers. Wouldn't they be speaking Yerk or whatever? I don't know, Axmay, but standard speech synthesizers use Gallard. Maybe they acquire less sophisticated ones. Sometimes easier to get older, less cutting-edge technology. Also, Yerks don't have a natural language because they don't naturally have mouths, I'd assume, but maybe Axe doesn't realize that. Or maybe he just assumes they would have their own language anyway. You mean they bought speech synthesizers on sale, Rachel said. At the Pluto Walmart, Marco said. Ask, you understand what they said? Yes, of course, they said to follow the plan. If we do this right, we'll be off this idiotic assignment out of these idiotic stupid bodies and back on board ship where we belong. That's what the leader said. Uh-oh, Tobias said darkly. They're splitting up. We'll have to, too. Follow each group, is what Jake said. Jake, me, Cassie, and Tobias go with one group. Axe, Rachel, and Marco go with the other. Axe us if they talk anymore, and tell us now by thought speak. Yes, Prince Jake. Have I mentioned no call me Prince? Yes, Prince Jake, you have. I fell and stepped alongside Jake trying to look like any old horse following along, minding their business. This is weird. These horses are definitely on a mission. I was surprised no one's ever noticed how bizarre our behavior is. What same person would think of a horse who would be a security risk, Tobias said. How do you like horse morph, Tobias? It's a main conversation he's been ever since. Compared to flying, it's dull. Compared to old days I wouldn't be able to morph for you guys at all. It's great. Right at the edge of the road, we're kind of based densely up with low whitewashed clipboard buildings, each bearing sensible numbers. Not far away is a large building with half-filled parking lot. Couldn't see well to my dim horse eyes to read a sign. People coming out, pushing loaded grocery carts. Base has changed, Jake said. Kind of a sharpening stand for people stationed here. Must be boring out here, Rachel said. Nobody to keep secrets. A pair of Humvees loaded with uniformed troops came rushing down the road. We stepped back out of the way. Totally unhorse-like behavior, but no one noticed. The guy in the Humvee never even glanced their way. They've seen wild horses hundreds of times. The afternoon sun was intense and it was really hot. The horse part of me was in one to find a shady patch and rest. I saw some trees and picnic tables off the side of the horse exchange. People were carrying sliced pieces and baskets of fried chicken and potatoes out to the tables. It was so weird. I was human and horse morph. I was walking along Yerks inside horse spies, and we were all here, all of us, trying to figure out what, if anything, was being held secret in the base. Was it true? Had a spaceship crashed here back in the 50s? Had the government hidden it all these years? We were the Yerks determined to get it away from the humans or to keep us understanding its technology? What could be hidden here? A Yerk bug fire? And life fire? Some shit belonging to some other race? Hey Jake, Tobias, you smell anything weird? I smell his french fries over the base exchange, Jake said. Not that, I smell the horse controllers. Do I have to? Wait, do you mean that smell? Fear, Tobias said, nervousness. Great, if they're scared, we should be scared. I have that covered, I said dryly. I looked around trying to make sense of the emotion I was literally smelling. If I could smell emotions, that'd be something. Anyway, I saw the same group of horse controllers, saw Rachel, Marco, and Axel and a couple of tag-alongs. They were converging in the same building. It was one of the hangars, a very large one, made 15 stories high, with doors you could walk a dinosaur through. It was a very secure hangar with guards on the main doors, and guards at every corner of the building. Looking up, I saw the outline of a man with a rifle on top of the structure. There was a sign inside the building, but I squinted but couldn't read my dim horse eyes. I must have realized, Tobias grumbled. Bring, and a same loud bell went off. I reared before I could control the action, but the horse controller showed no response at all. The horses said they were very still and focused. They were expecting the bell. The bell is a safety alarm heralding the opening of the main doors of the hangar. So the guards moved their automatic weapons out of their shores in easy firing position. Ka-chunk. Doors didn't open, motors roaring loudly. That's when the same group of horses began to run. The horse controllers followed after a moment hesitation by Marco, Axel, and Rachel suddenly broke into full-out gallop. Oh man, Tobias groaned. Why do I get the feeling we're going to be shooting soon? Why are they doing that? I asked. Makes no sense. Why hide in horse spies so you can come and go without anyone noticing and just suddenly do this? Because the cell approach isn't working, Jake said. Remember they said earlier, do this and they're out of here. It's a desperation move. So what do? We play follow the leader and hope the Yerks have a good plan. Suddenly, a group of horse controllers searched for us, started by quickly after and followed by Jake and Tobias. The rescue was racing full tilt to the hangar. They're almost there. The armed guards watching them bemusing me. You could see the turn into puzzlement and finally too late fear. The lead horse slammed bodily into one guard, knocking him into a second. Horses flashed the hoof ran over a guard. I could see in my weak horse eyes we were close now, running straight to the door of the hangar. We were there. A madhouse, guards mingling with seemingly insane horses, guards being knocked to the ground. Get these horses out of here, someone bawled. And the horses neighed and screamed. Sarge, what do you do? Ah! Shoot them! Negative, soldier, not fire. We can hit what's inside. Our group jumped into a melee with frantic soldiers and madly dancing, rearing, screaming horses, but our group stayed close behind until they were plowed straight through. Straight into the most secret place on Earth. Chapter 19. Into the hangar we thundered. My host scrambled on smooth painted concrete. For the eyes on the side of my head saw a flash of heavy equipment, banks of computer consoles, and flashing numerical readouts. There were men and women in white lab coats running as if they were a pack of wolves or something. As if we were a pack of wolves or something. There are uniformed airmen running after us, waving their guns in the air. There's stuffy old officers on males on their chests, saying with hands on hips, outraged expression on their faces. Everyone's yelling. What the blazing Hades is going on here? Stop those horses! Shoot! Don't shoot! Help! I'm allergic to horses! It was not so truthless and weird way. It was fun. Minneapolis Max was running, and when he was running, he felt fine. Every nerve in my big body was tingling. I was incredibly loud with fear and excitement and lust for competition. I wasn't a plow horse. I was a running fool. I was born bred champion. It's a big, tough, endowment stallion. I neighed for no reason, scaring one a lap coat into dropping our open yogurt on the floor. We thundered by our weird herd of real horses, your confessed horse and Animorphs and horse morphs. And we came to the room. You could tell the center, the nexus, the reason for all the activity. It's gonna work, Marco exulted. We're in! We're in! It was there's glass on all sides, so it would be a foot thick. Red glass saw a pedestal of shining steel. Around its house were cameras, sensors, wires, lights, glowing screens, and rows of massive computers. Bathed in the light, high in the pedestal was something not of this planet. It was 8 feet across. The shape was a cube, but the corner was rounded off. The entire surface covered in tubing and painted symbols. On one, it was an opening large enough for a person to walk inside. I could barely get a glimpse of the inside. It was smooth, a lovely green and color with soft lighting. It was some sort of instrumentation on the wall. That's it! That's it! The most closely guarded secret in all of history! I never heard Margaret sound happier. And Jake Axe and Marco and I were on 3 or 4 horse control. Let's try to fix what Marco called the most closely guarded secret in all history. Kulim Falat? One of the horse controllers asked. He wants to know what it is, Axe translated. Johanlen Formella, another horse controller said. I didn't need no Axe's translation to understand. They had no idea what this was. They had succeeded, they had busted in, they had laid eyes on the big secret, but they had no clue what it was. Sergeant, get those horses out of my facility! Now, a colonel bellowed. Yes, sir, Sergeant said. Horses! About face! It was surprised the poor sergeant when amazingly, we all complied. I think he just ordered them just on impulse, like he's used to giving people orders, so that's just what he does. He wasn't even thinking that it was horses, but amazingly it worked. Anyway, Animorphs and Yurtsville turned and walked away. Okay. Chapter 20. It was getting dark by the time we walked away, none the wiser from the most secret place on Earth. The horse controllers walked gloomily into the dry lanes. We shouted them, keeping a little distance. We've been more for a little more an hour, but Jake decided we should stay a little longer. I don't get it, Margaret complained. I don't get it at all. It's what it says. The Yerks did. They broke in a hangar. We all saw what was there. Why are they depressed? Axe says they don't know what they saw, Jake pointed out. It didn't look like a spaceship, Rachel said. It was definitely something alien. Yeah, but what? If the Yerks don't know and we don't know and probably scientists back in base don't know, then what's the point? It's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Shakespeare, Tobias said. Every conspiracy in the world is obsessed with us back there. We saw it and we don't even know what it is. Actually, Axe began, then he stopped. Actually, what, Rachel pressed? Oh, well, I sort of know what it is. It's kind of... Look, I yelled. So swooping in fast on a darkening desert, it flew across the ground 10 inches above the scattered scruffy trees. It turned out dust as it came, smallish, no bigger than a large human fighter plane, but it was shaped like a streamlined headless beetle. There was long serrated points aimed straight toward 4 on either side. Bugfighter. I just urged to run. That was only natural. I was trained to once more I smelled fever in a horse controller. I was scared of that Bugfighter, more scared than they were rushing in a hangar. Or more likely scared of who was in the Bugfighter. Bugfighter swooped her head, circled, and came to land a pile of rocks. I can't believe the radar back at base and picked it up, Tobias said. Radar, is that a human tool that bounces radio beams off the objects? I don't mean to offend, but the analog child would build a radar cloak from pieces of his toys. Somebody grind my nerves, Axe, Rachel said grumpily, and that's supposed to be Marco's job. He fell down on the back of the rocks. The Bugfighter's wing never hit the ground, but the horse didn't... the door didn't open until the horse controller already assembled before it. Fear was radiating from them. So much fear gave me a pretty good idea who was in the Bugfighter. The door opened. Outside the Harbinger warrior, 7 feet of bladed death. He swung his horn snakehead left and right, all while holding a portable Dracon weapon. Then when it looked safe, the occupant stepped out in the rapidly cooling air. He was an Andalite, or at least he had a body like one, but he was no true Andalite. Visitor 3, I said. It wasn't a surprise. Yeah, Jake really suddenly all this got a lot more serious. Visit Free, the leader of all the Yerk forces on Earth, leader of the invasion. The only Yerk in all history successfully seized-controlled an Andalite body. The only Yerk in all history gained the Andalite power of morphing and Andalite thought-speak abilities. Our greatest enemy, the human race's greatest enemy. Report, he said, a tone of complete casualness. The lead horse control again replying Gallard. Visitor, Galaham Velak, don't waste my time. Did you succeed or did you fail? Visitor, his tail moved so quickly it cracked the air. Deadly blade stopped a millimeter from his throat. A twitch was in his head rolling. Did you penetrate the facility? Yes or no? According to Axe, the human horse controller answered yes. Did you see the object they're hiding? The object we know is constructed of non-human alloys? Again, he said yes. And can you now tell me what it was? He hesitated, then when he twitched his ant-like tail. Fools! Incompetents! Idiots! He screamed in rage to speak. Weeks have been wasted setting up this effort. First he loses a clumsy fool Corin 547 when he's bitten by a snake, and now he lost poor Jill J 926. He indicated no longer a one-piece horse controller like it had been someone else's fault he'd been lost. And now you don't even know what you saw. He was enraged and when he's mad he's beyond danger. His horse controllers backed away as far as they dared. I will have the secret. Suddenly low and sinister. I will have it. For a while, no one moved or spoke or even breathed. No one, me included, wanted to take any chance of attracting his attention. Then, alright, I punched her responsible. Transport will come for the rescue. We still have the backup plan, and it was always the better plan. We simply take control of the humans working the base. Have you idiots at least identified the right targets? Jihal Vizir, one of the horse controllers said. Good, then you can live. We target the right human, see them tomorrow at... He stopped. Those horses, what are they doing with you? They're not our people. When the Ngala one of the horse controllers explained his normal horse to herd here, it's good for a real horse to be around to provide camouflage. But that was not the answer he wanted to hear. He stared at his sock eyes at me. Fool, do you not realize animal bandits who plague us can morph any animal, including horses? We have to kill these creatures just to be sure. No one moved, no one actually heard anything, hissed the airs. I lowered my big golden head and scrunched up a mouthful of grass and did what horses do. And I wasn't modest about it. He laughed derisively. I suppose they are real horses after all. I took a relieved breath. Still, better kill them. Uh-oh, I said. Yeah, I think he's learned his lesson from previous times. The Harbinger warrior leveled his drink on beyond us. The second one came running inside the bug fire. I felt a thrill of terror. I myself to run away, but any creature in my head right then. Minneapolis Max is there too. He didn't feel like running. My hunkor was bunched up and fired away from myself fiber at once. For I knew what was happening, I was running, but not running away. I ran straight for the first Harbinger. I whinnied and reared up all the way till I was standing on my hind legs and flailed madly with my hooves. I couldn't exactly aim. Horses aren't predators, but I flailed anyway, and just as the Harbinger was pressing a trigger, bonk. Rah! The Harbinger bellowed. He dropped a drink on me in his hands and clouded on the ground, and down I came, directly at both hooves on the weapon. Crunch! I like to say it was deliberate, but in truth it was my side vision. Horse eyes could barely see my hooves, let alone aim them, but sometimes luck is just as good as skill. Haul button, Jake yelled. Now Minneapolis Max was ready to run away, so I ran. We all did, the Harbinger in pursuit. If they catch us for dog food, Rachel said. 2 Harbinger versus 6 horses? Not a prayer. She's right, me also if it had been 100 horses, a horse would still lose. How fast are they? Asked Rachel. She morphed to Harbinger once. Fast, she said grimly. We bolted, hauled, but they were coming hard on our trail. We saw spotlights and were bouncing wildly toward us. Humvees, the security troops of the base were coming out to investigate. The rain Harbinger hesitated. I looked back and next they were gone. Well, that's stupid from start to finish, Rachel said. We got far from Zone 91. We could have gotten killed, and for what? Or something the Yerks don't even recognize. Whatever that thing is, it didn't look like a spaceship, Margot admitted. Or a secret weapon, Jake said. It doesn't look human, but who knows? It's not a spaceship, Axe said, or a weapon, but it's also not human. I guess we'll never find out what it is, said with a sigh. Why won't you find out, Axe said? Because it's not worth risking our lives, and the Earths don't know what it is. Of course they don't know what it is, Max said. They've never been aboard an Andalite dome ship. One by one, I altered stopped talking and looked at the face Axe. Are you telling me you know what it is? Of course, I started telling you, but we were interrupted. So, what is it? And it is. It's a disposable module of a type used in old days on the first generation of Andalite dome ships. When modules were used up, they were just into space. They're supposed to be aimed toward stars, so they burned up without a trace. This one must have drifted through space and been caught by Earth's gravity. So, it's a space engine? It's a weapon? No, of course not. It's well, it's a bit embarrassing. It's an Andalite dome ship's modular waste disposal system. For a full minute, no one said anything, then Marco spoke. You're telling me the most secret place on Earth, the fabled Zone 91, the holy grail of conspiracy nuts is hiding the secrets of an Andalite toilet? Only a very primitive model, accidentally condescendingly, since these days we have had huge technological improvements. Yep, you got here just in time, Viriday. Chapter 21. We got out of horse morph into a bird morph and flew home. Now we alone knew a secret of Zone 91. An entire base building analyzed what we thought was an alien spaceship, but was in reality a high-tech Andalite porta-john. There was, according to Axe, 0 chance the Andalite total would give humans the ability to fly into space. We'd done some very important things, we fought terrible and vital battles, but this wasn't one of them. I got just time to walk in my living room and realized both my parents were waiting for me, and then their angry parent faces on. Where have you been? My mother demanded. Mom always thinks Lean discipline. She won't let doubt give in too easily. She thinks she's tougher. She thinks that because it happens to be true. I was out with Rachel, said more or less truthfully. Out there doing what? You missed dinner, it's dark out, you didn't tell us where you were going. She's not a real big person unless she's mad, and she somehow gets larger. She seems to rise up and tower over me. It's weird. Normally she's maybe 2 inches higher, but right now she's at least 8 feet tall. We are very worried, my father said in a soft, quiet voice. I sigh, I feel like guilt welling up inside me. I hate when I've been worried. See, I understand I'm worrying now. I feel worried all the time for Rachel and Jake and the others. Sometimes I lie in bed at night and worry for the whole human race. I'm really sorry, I said. Where were you, young lady? My mom said, doing her one word at a time voice. I was just with Rachel and Jake. They should look. My dad put a hand over his mouth. He's hiding a smile, at the same time trying to look extra stern. I looked back and put her hand on her hips. You know we discussed your dating, and I thought we decided you're still too young. Dating, I said weakly. Mom sighed and shook her head. Maybe it's time to have another talk about the birds and the bees. I saw her blood drain out my entire head, then came rushing back just my cheeks and necks they burned. I'm not dating. It's nothing to be ashamed of, my dad said gruffly. You're a normal girl. You have certain interests, certain fascinations, and a natural curiosity. This one would dig a hole right in the living floor, crawl and pull the rug over me. All we're saying is be honest, my mom said, all stirring in. Don't make us worry about you. Absolutely, I swear I'll never make you worry again. Can I go now? I raced through the living room to the kitchen. I wanted to make myself a sandwich, crept to the room, and tried my best to do some homework, and I really didn't want to be subject to a big talk about boys. Good grief. Just as I was getting a turkey from the refrigerator, a thought occurred to me. I slipped back to the kitchen door and pressed my ear against it. See, my mother saying smugly, you were right, as usual. It's the only way, let's face it, she works so hard already. What can you do? You can't give her punishment work or make her stay in her room. We have a cool kid. They gave me a warm feeling. Your parents have to love you, but most of my parents like me too, as a person. We do have a cool kid, my mom agreed, but one of the rare occasions she screws up, only way really disciplines to embarrass her. So I laughed. Next time I can tell her we're going to have Jake and her parents over discuss rules of her relationship, my mom said. More laughter. Hee hee hee. Or a backup plan threatened to take her into their band and have a family discussion about intimacy. That's my dad's suggestion. So I tried warm in her glow, so my parents knew I liked Jake, and knew any discussion about the fact it would embarrass me to death. Parents. You can never really trust them. I finished my sandwich and went upstairs. My room is a disaster. I'm not a neat person. Went to my desk, moved some of my junk aside, clear a workspace, and my binder to find my backup plan. That's some phrase my dad used too. And Visit Free said that too. Backup plan. Why would they have a backup plan? After all, the way to penetrate a big secret Zone 91 knew it was a toilet. It wasn't as if they understood it, but they obviously knew it wasn't a Yerk ship or a weapon. So why were they still interested? I shook it off. Who cared now? We wasted enough time. I had better things to worry about, like homework and discovering my parents knew more about me than I wanted them to. I did some homework and went to bed. At 4 o'clock in the morning I woke up. I sat up right and stared in the darkness. So it's a toilet. That's not important. It's an alien toilet. It's an alien toilet. That's the point. Of course, see if it was just toilet, it meant the government had proof of life on our planets, proof the Yerks did not want them to have. The Yerks were invading Earth. One of the reasons they can't get away with it is because no sensible person would ever believe it. Even if I went on national TV and announced that aliens are invading, who'd believe me? Even on Mortified and Reputable, they figure some kind of other weirdness. But the government came out and said, look, we have proof aliens exist, people start listening. Might be prepared to believe the Yerks were among us. And that's why they couldn't just forget about this. They couldn't allow the government to have any kind of proof about alien life. That was the backup. I suddenly had a pretty good suspicion about what it was. Tomorrow evening at 1900 hours, the gardens would be full of people who worked at Zone 91. Like a sign-up sheet in the base just there. I was willing to bet the Yerks would strike then. What better place to grab some key people and fill their heads with Yerk slugs? Well, there are probably better places actually, but Visit Free is not known for being very patient, and the trip was his soonest opportunity. Isn't it great when you just wake up in the middle of the night and you just suddenly, the pieces suddenly click together and it's way too late to do anything about it? Yeah, I love it when it happens. Chapter 22. The garden's a combination of zoo and amusement park. The two sections are separate, of course. Roller coasters and bumper cars on one side, an artificial lagoon and animal habitats on the other. We spent a lot of time in the zoo part. I spent very little in the rides. I don't like roller coasters. From the air, it looks smaller than it does on the ground. Down the ground, walking on the pink and green concrete walkways seem endless. From the air in Animorphs, you can see how the pathways curve inside each other like a circular maze. You see the edges of the park and a world beyond the gardens. You see the endless neon golden arches and the best western hotels and the water slides and putt-putt golf courses. Of course, in Owl, you can even see the mice counting down inside the dark bushes. In Owl, there isn't much you can't see. The gardens at night was two different halves. Down below, the tigers were prowling and limits their wooded moat ring and habitat. The camels were dozing. The sea lions are held together under a blue-painted concrete island. And the monkeys were sleeping and fussing, occasionally picking bugs out of their ears and eating them. Over in the music park, however, was a flashing neon extravaganza. The turtle pool was a blaze of blue, the merry-go-round in red and yellow, the roller coaster were wild dragons of racing sequential lights. I saw a flash. It was a log ride. Then she photographs people in the logs. They jump all down to the final drop. I heard screams of giddy excitement and fake fear. In addition to having wonderful eyes, Alice can hear mosquitoes' wings beat from 10 feet away. So I's not so lucky. He doesn't have an Animorphs, so his usual red-tailed self. Our tails don't see or fly well at night. Wait a minute, flashbulbs? Hey, there's people down there. They're not supposed to be people. People aren't supposed to be here until 8 o'clock. If they're here, the Yerks are here too, Rachel said grimly. What are they doing here? I thought you said sign up was at 8. Actually, I said 1900 hours. That's 8, right? No. They've been here an hour already. The Yerks may have already infested them. Right, that's 7 o'clock because it's 12 plus 7, yeah. You just subtract 7, then you know what time it is, right? Anyway. Are those right guys on there? The Zone 91 guys wonder aloud. Jake kept his tone carefully neutral and wanted to make me feel bad. There's a lot of sort of 20 or 30-year-old guys down there with short hair, definitely a military-looking crowd. I played a look over very early this morning. Gardens occasionally lease out the entire music park to private groups, occasionally, especially on slow nights like Sundays. Zone 91 leases the park for soldiers and families. Of course, on reservation, not listed as Zone 91. They're listed as Gondor Industries. Really? I spent the day researching on the internet just to be totally sure there was no Gondor Industries, it's a fake corporation. I was so prepared and proud of myself for being so smart. Unfortunately, our should have had to repair was already gone, all because I couldn't read military time. So who's back at Zone 91 guarding the 12-hour space, I wonder, Jim Marco asked. I'm sure there's still plenty of guys back there, Jake said. In any case, it's not our problem. Our problem is we have zero time to figure out the rest of your plan. All we know is we're attempting to use this night to infest several members of Zone 91 force. But where? Where do they do it? No time, it was my screw up. I totally messed up. Now innocent men and women might be turned to control some of my stupidity. Think, where would they try it? Two possible places. You need somewhere they can grab people without being seen. The log ride is dark, or the House of Horrors ride. There are only 2 places. Okay, we split up, Jake said tersely. Cassie, you and Mark come with me for the log ride. Richard, Tobias, and actually check out the House of Horrors. We split into 2 separate books. Jake, Mark, and I flew across the log ride. Heard me cursing the entire time. How could I have been so dumb? You weren't dumb, Jake said. We wouldn't even know about this yet and figure it out. For future arts, all I do is subtract 12, Margaret said. Huh? The translate military time, just subtract 12. Then after I added, duh. The log ride may look like a mountain, but of course it's just cement and fake bushes. It's kind of convincing. We land on top of it. Or rather, it's meant to look like a mountain. Now what, Margaret said. We need to get inside. Can we fly in? Yes, but we're an animal. We won't be able to do much anything except flap our wings, Jake said. We need to get human again. We did more as fast as we could, and a few minutes later, we climbed down the side of a fake cement mountain, wearing morphing outfits and no shoes. Fortunately, God's people dressed more strangely than that, so people turned to stare, but not for long. The lines are short since some people in the park were thousands of people over in Zone 91. Some brought their kids so they're fit and fitting okay, even though most people were older guys, short hair, and neatly trimmed mustaches. And the log ride we went. We took a log of me and Jake in the front, Marco behind us, and a man one behind in the last seat. The log slipped on the water channel towards the chain lift. It'd be fun if it wasn't a matter of life or death, Margaret said. I love the log ride. Not as good as the coaster course, but big splashy and's cool. Margaret's being very sure how furious I would be. I don't think he's angry right now. Like, I'm sure he's annoyed, but if she didn't know, she didn't know. That voice, someone said. I know that voice. Turn around, look who see was talking. My clean horror past being eye-to-eye other than Captain Torelli, our interrogator in Zone 91. And just that moment, the log hit the chain lift and engaged with a loud chunk. You, the captain said. Margaret turned around. Uh-oh. What, Jake asked? The opal sloping went back, pressed back in our damp seats. You're under arrest, Captain Torelli said. Honey, what's going on? As Dade asked. Yeah, what's going on? Jake asked me. It's the guy from Zone 91, I whispered. He recognized me and Marco. Uh-oh. None of you better move, the captain said. At that point, Richard chopped our lift. For a second, we were poised there. A log tipped forward and gravity took over. Ah, the captain yelled. Ah, he yelled. You two are mine, the captain yelled, and down we went. Poosh, then sploosh, water everywhere. The log Korean crawling in the narrow channel past big models of a logging camp dominated by some big plaster Paul Bunyan thing. Like they're just gonna strike us in a tunnel up ahead, Jake whispered. This tunnel of love thing, real dark. I wonder that's how he knew about a tunnel of love, but I stuck to business. Either way, you need to be high here, otherwise I'll never lose the captain. Marco turned back in his seat, draping his arms partition between him and the captain. You know, I don't think you can really arrest us. You're military police, right? And this is not a military base. He glowered. He whipped a cell phone from his He glowered and whipped a cell phone from his pocket and his jacket and punched in a number. Hello, Garden Security, it's Captain Torelli. Your security code number 872-9er-9er. I need... Good work, Margot, Jake said, rolling his eyes. This complicates things, I whispered. Here comes the tunnel, Jake said. Get ready. The logboat banged through a dull way into a total absolute darkness. Now, Jake hissed. I stood up, I turned left, nothing but darkness, turned right, just dark. Not dark like in your room dark when you sleep at night. This is dark like I might as well be blind. I saw the boat trusting everything to luck. Chapter 23. Never trust anything to luck. My foot didn't touch anything. I tried to pull back, but it was too late. I pitched forward. Ah! Splash! Water up to my waist. Bang! The side of the channel. Ow! My head! I slipped and fell face first in the water. Felt the current carry me away. Then Margaret's voice. Ugh! Ow! You kids aren't getting away that easily. Plush! Ah! Ow! Hey, watch her driving that boat! Bonk! I hand grabbing, I swung a clenched fist. Ow! I need that shoulder, Jake yelled. Sorry, you kids stop where you are. Suddenly there's lights everywhere, but it swept along the current back out the tunnel. I was back in the night air again, getting the neon incandescence. I stood up, and the current was too strong, so my feet out from under me. I fell and floated. Behind me, another lockboat filled with crew cut guys. Between me and the boat, 3 heads bottom of the water. Jake, Marco, and really angry Captain Torelli. Cassie, climb out! Unless it's insane, Marco moaned. You kids are gonna do time for this, I swear, Captain Torelli yelled. I scraped along a sharp turn, tried to grab the lip of the boat channel and pull myself out. I was too weak and the force of the water was too strong. What could I do? I couldn't morph. There were witnesses that flew along until a huge drop. Ah! I cried. I can't just figure out where her head, Marco said. Ah! I confirmed. Then there was some few dozen feet ahead the loppo had been, and I saw another boat suddenly disappear. I heard screams, happy ones, so from my own. I was racing along toward a waterfall and I was going to stop it. No, no, no. Oh man, no. This is insane, no. I'll get you kids for this, no. Over the entry when I skidded my butt down a 50-foot water slide, which is bad enough a few feet away behind me, 2 guys and an angry man. And a few feet further back was another loppo. The loppo was squished like bugs if it actually hit us. Then I fell screaming the entire way. I hit the lagoon, rolled to my left as fast as I could move my waterlogged body. Something hit me, but it wasn't a boat. Haha, Cindy Crawford, you think I don't remember your name? You're under arrest, Captain Torelli cried exultantly, but he slipped in his hand to it under the water and I was out of there. We joined just as I exited the log ride, 3 extremely wet, barefoot kids in bike shorts and aerobic suits. You know, basically that was fun. He says that hole could have been crushed by a logboat thing. Jake squeegeed the water out of his hair. Okay, so it's not the log ride, no York's there. House of Horrors, I agreed, definitely House of Horrors. We ran for it, when we ran there came a sound, not to the voice crying, police, security, police, so we ran faster. Chapter 24. We ran for the House of Horrors, bare wet feet slapping all the way. We were halfway across the music market. I was panting and sweating, holding my sides in the pain by the time we got there. Now, Marco asked. Now we found the Earth, Jake said. But they could be more if we don't know what we're looking for, I pointed out. Exactly, we have to figure out if the Earth's using House of Horrors kidnapped and Fescaz in Zone 91. You know, don't the Earth's plain old human control the Harbinger or whatever, I said. Exactly. And in the meantime, we have to avoid getting arrested by Air Force captain who was frankly trying to protect my secret place and therefore hiding an old Andalite tool. It's Marco laughed sardonically. Does anyone ever think maybe we just lost our minds? Like maybe none of this is real, we just escaped lunatics from a hospital and hopelessly wacko? Well, you're saving the world here, Marco. That's what all lunatics say. Come along, wacko friends, Jake said, led the way to House of Horrors entrance. The ride involved cars on tracks opposed to logboats in the water, so I believe there wasn't any water. 3 of us piled in one of the cars, the 4th person was Steve Wiss, who's a man maybe 30, smiled at me. Sure isn't too scary for you kids? No, sir, pretty good at handling scary stuff. I'll say the Earth, Jake muttered under his breath, the car lurching on the track. A mechanical skeleton shrieked, Beware, beware all who enter here, a loud booming voice said, Beware the horrors that lie within! Then, a mechanical pirate holding his severed head jerkingly and waved a sword at us. A huge snake turned and aimed his cobra-like head at us, staring with glittering green eyes. Yeah, big deal, Marco said. Does it get any faker? Why are you kids so cynical? Crew cut man asked. We watch too much TV, Marco answered. And the car spun and banged backward to a doorway next to a room at House of Horrors, and a flash of lightning I saw the car behind us is also 4 people, Captain Torelli and 3 uniformed guard and security guys. What's with that guy asked. Hey Captain, we having fun? The crew cut yelled back. Arabin Jones, let those kids get away. These kids? Yeah, those kids, at least that girl and the boy with the smirk. Our car jerked violently back around and we were being shrieked at by a flight of ghosts passing our head. That's Captain Torelli, what a joker that guy is, I said to Airman Jones. Captain Torelli's never joked in his life, Jones growled. You kids have to stay with me until the captain can talk to you. Yeah. But it gives the impression that Captain Torelli is a guy who literally has no sense of humor, does nothing fun. He just really, really laser focuses on the job, so he never forgets when something goes wrong. So the point that right now he's basically a Scooby-Doo villain, but, you know, that's just how it goes. And I mean, I get it. It's still a security risk, but jeez. We passed Meet the Flying Ghost, and that's when the ride got weird. Really weird. See, somehow whoever built the ride seemed to create a perfect life-size replica of 6 Harbinger warriors. They're staying between them. Also, there's a place a creature with a body of a deer, a tail of a scorpion, and a mouthless face. They all seem very lifelike, probably because they were alive. There's a freeze in the House of Horrors. Okay, now I'm scared, Marco said. Where are Rachel, Tobias, and Axel? Said a low voice. There, I pointed, a frozen lifelike replica of one of the scariest things on Earth, a 100-pound grizzly bear. The girl said his hind legs reared up, it was staying perfectly still, so I could see it breathing. Standing atop the grizzly bear is a bird, too dark to make out the tail bears, I guess what color they were, and clean its odds to blue, aroused and cold around the grizzly bear's outstretched paw. Yeah, this is time for concern, yes. Rachel and the Earths must have seen the Yerks moving into place. They got there first and are now waiting for the Yerks to make their move. The last speaker blared, beware the graveyard ghouls. In between Harbinger, the visitor, my friends, the bear, hawk, and snake all really figgling tombstones top of greenish skulls. This is the best part of the ride, Jones said. Those big blade monsters are really cool. I rolled my eyes, my stomach rolled on all its own. This is so gonna turn ugly, Marco said. Chapter 25. You ever known something was going to happen before it did? It's almost like you're psychic, but you usually use your brain putting things together and figuring something out. Well, when Swiss of everything cut loose, I realized that the Drylands visitor talked about having a list of humans to be useful, and who'd be more useful than the head of security at Zone 91. There's time to be subtle. They go for Torelli, I yelled. Our car was turning around and we passed the tableau on Harbinger and Animorphs, so I heard a loud scream. It was one of those giddy, happy funhouse screams. Jake left from his car. I left after and collided with Marco, for he was barely missed being cut in two. Who as the car was slammed into a narrow door. I fell on my knees on a tableau where something part of a blade of horror. The House of Horrors ride, and that ride was gone and totally gruesome. Taking big Harbinger bound toward Captain Turley's car, I heard a scream as we heard. Then it had been his scream we heard. One of the uniformed guards raised his gun, but it was too slow, 100 times too slow. Harbinger swept his wrist blade and the man screamed in pain. Harbinger yanked the guards out of their seats and literally threw them into the scenery. Captain Turley was alone in the car, but two Harbinger grabbed him, careful not to injure him, and lifted him up like he's a doll. All the while, the stupid last few years yammering, beware the graveyard ghouls. But Captain Turley was not alone. Rachel roared a big grizzly bear voice, and she flew into route snake straight toward the nearest Harbinger. The snake Axomorph wrapped around tightly on the alien's neck and snake poisonous fangs deep. Tobias launched himself down as I stretched and ripped out the vulnerable eyes of a second Harbinger. I still left forward the big play of Moss and mentioned the visitor himself, and I and Rachel handled them all, though she tried. I swear she grinned a bear grin. She swung one frying pan-sized paw on the head of a Harbinger. He rocked back and fell unconscious. He hit the floor. Andalite bandits, Vice-Free screamed in thought speak. That's what the Earth's name we are, Andalites. They knew whoever we are were in Morph, and only Andalites have that technology. Imagine 20 years and some music part does a thing with weird additions to House of Horrors. Oh man, if they could put this in there, that would be pretty cool. But anyway. We can't stay and fight, Visitor pouted. Much as I've enjoyed destroying these vermin, we have priorities. Bring the human. We have to Morche kiss me and Marco into shadows where the visitor gets away. I already started. This is the fight. He's something powerful and dangerous. They're taking the captain, Marco yelled. We can't stop him. We need more firepower, Jake yelled. Morph. My war's already underway. Thick gray fur was spraying from every inch of my body, mouth killing a muzzle filled with long, sharp teeth. We could use some help here, Rachel crawled. She knocked her Harbinger into a wall. And the one axe-filled rouse like was staggering. But Viscerina the other two disappeared in review of Captain Torelli. Cool, voice skilled. Now this part of the ride is excellent. My amazing people are still passing by on the right. If you think it's their car load round past, people who must thought they were watching the most realistic House of Horrors ride in all history. Look, it's a werewolf, someone said. They pointed right at me. Fortunately, all deep in shadows, I was able to recognize us. I was finishing on Morph. I gone as quick as I could from Hugh and the wolf. Rachel was roaring and bellowing, Tobias was shrieking and flapping his wings, I was looking for another victim, but the fact was, Visitor had Torelli and the visitor was gone. I looked at Jake, he's completing his tiger morph, looked at Margaret, as almost all the way into his gorilla morph. I had felt the wolf senses turn on. It was a powerful moment. There's something on Earth like a wolf sense of smell, nothing about talking about a wolf sense of hearing. I could tell exactly where Captain Torelli had gone. I could smell every dragging footstep he'd taken. Some of the being Harbinger warriors had bolted. They raced after Visitor and Captain Torelli. After them, Jake yelled. Bright lights, crunching and blazing neon. Took a few seconds to figure out what happened. I saw Visitor had used his antenna sliced to the back wall of the House of Horrors. His Harbinger had knocked a wall down. Visitor, his Harbinger, and Captain Torelli are loose on the grounds of the gardens. Alright. Chapter 26. One evil hand controlling 6 Harbingers, several which are staggering from wounds Rachel Tobias and accident inflicted, barreled in the neon night, dragging a helpless Captain Torelli. They're pursued by a red-tailed hawk, a tiger, a wolf, grizzly bear, and a gorilla with a rattlesnake around his neck. Help! Help! Captain Torelli cried. Back to the ship, Visitor yelled. After them, Jake yelled. This is insane, Marco cried. Insane! And the band played 76 trombones, a loud tuba, and louder bass drums. Yes, I said the band, because you see the nightly gardens parade of characters swinging up the main street. There was a brass band. In fact, there were 3 of them. And there were dance teams, clowns, floats, and best of all, cartoon characters. Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Tweebird, Sylvester, Tasmanian Devil, and Pepe Le Pew. All there in bigger and life costumes racing into the blazing lights that blinded the stars. I ran full out. I ran faster than Rachel, with more endurance than Jake. The Yerks moved swiftly straight toward the parade. Suddenly out jumped Daffy Duck right in the middle of Visitor's path. Visitor snapped his deadly tail and it flew for the air and Daffy's head went rolling across the ground. No! I cried. The girl in a costume stuck her head up and said, Hey, what's the matter with you? Ah! The Visitor moaned. What kind of creature is that? He slowed just for a moment. A few seconds contemplated the weirdness of a creature with a smaller head inside a larger head. And in hesitation, we caught up. Silly, unpredictable humans. Anyway, Jake let loose a roar, so he knocked a cotton candy straight out of a children's hand. He roared and we all charged. I left for a throw to near Harbinger with my yellow teeth bared in a snarl. Harbinger swung an elbow blade at me by a twist with unnatural speed. The blade sliced only fur. He couldn't use his blades, I was in too close, so he was clawing, that wasn't enough. A vicious battle raged, and Rachel moved my Harbinger. Jake seeing his tire fangs to another one, Mark using acid snake morph like a bullwhip, snapping him to bite, yanking him back out, and Tobias using all his speed agility to tear at Tobias' vulnerable Andalite stock eyes. Yay! A voice yelled. Cool, another voice cried. People began applauding wildly. Without noticing something in the parade become part of the show, and people loved it. I dropped away from Harbinger as out of the fight. I ran for Harbinger so Yang kept really along. He was way on the front waiting for the parade. We passed Bugs Bunny near Sandy Sam, barreling rudely for a brass man all playing You're a Grand Old Flag. Here boy, some kid yells. I shot past like I was a dog. The crowd drew thick just ahead of me, too thick for me to see control, but I could smell it. I could smell the minuscule trace of scent left by his shoes. Smelled 10,000 other things right then, everything from candy apples to grease on the bears of the Ferris wheel to gel on a pink guy's hair. Or a punk guy's hair. Yeah, lucky it's the 90s for sure. It's almost too much. If I focused hard on just one smell, a few floating molecules said Torelli to my wolf nose. I put my nose down and showed for the crowd. People petted me, people bumped into me. I didn't care. My wolf nose is working and there's no way it's going to be let lose the captain. The crowd thinned out. I looked left, right, saw nothing. The descent trail led left. My wolf ears picked out one voice among thousands. You're connected to those darn kids, aren't you? Count Torelli demanded angry at Harbinger. Oh my god, he is a Scooby-Doo villain! I went after him a full run. There, Harbinger dragging a captain. Alien brushed aside some child who rushed over his mom to have to take a picture with the monster. I timed my perch and fired my wolf haunch, just flew for earring right for the back of his neck. The alien cried, after I broke free and ran like his life depended, which it pretty much did. I relaxed my jaw sharp to the ground. Harbinger and I stared bailey for a few seconds. We sized sharp like a couple of boxes in a ring. Most saw and heard the visitor go rushing past and clattering like hooves. Harbinger ran to join his commander. Suddenly the Yerk invasion of the gardens was over. A few minutes later, they was caught up with me, watched a pair of buckfires rise to the music park and streak into the sky. They hid them in plain sight. They were atop the alien adventure ride. Okay, that is clever. As he powered away, I noticed the kid shaking his head disgustedly. That ain't what alien ships look like, he said. That's for sure, his grandpa agreed. I was taking aboard a spaceship once. They formed medic with spirits on me, and their ship was nothing like that. Chapter 27. The official story newspaper and on local TV news is a group of pranksters that dress up as monsters and vandalize the House of Horrors. Those who carried out a mock abduction Air Force captain named Torelli. He was only slightly injured. Torelli's quoted newspaper saying, "It's those darn kids, looking for three kids named Fox Mulder, Dana Scully, and Cindy Crawford." The poor wondered perhaps he'd been drinking, and when he asked why the Air Force officer was doing a company outing for Gondor, and she said, "No comment, forget I said anything. I was obviously mistaken, nothing happened." Psst. We met up at the bar next day. Jake, Rachel, Tobias, Axe, Marco, and me. The Animorphs, 6 kids are trying to save the world. Just one question, Rachel said. Don't you think in all fairness, all decency and all kindness should tell him that he's guarding an alien toilet? I shook my head. No, Rachel, that wouldn't be kind at all. He knows how mean their lives are now. Why would you try to make them feel trivial and foolish? Ooh, wisdom, Marco mocked in gently. Deep. So this most secret place on Earth remains a secret, Jake thoughtfully. Maybe that's wise. You're still continuing to try and penetrate the secret of Zone 91, Tobias pointed out. Maybe the captain would be really on guard now, Jake said. Besides, maybe it's all for really good. They'll keep them busy, the Yerks from doing anything more dangerous, Rachel said a laugh. Everyone needs a project, right? Everyone needs some hopeless cause to pursue, a mission, a quest. We said that last part is I didn't have my jeans. When did you buy those, Cassie, when you were 4? These jeans are fine. Yeah, for expecting a flood. Wait a minute, that's how things started. Leave Cassie alone, Jake said, laughing. We're gonna start this over. No way. Except for maybe the horse racing thing, Mark said. See, all I'm saying is we morphed race horses and then we bet. And then I dumped a bucket of water on his head, and we all went home. Huh. And that's the end of Animorphs number 14. I think this one was a little shorter than the other ones, because usually it takes about 2 hours and 30 or so, but not this time. Not feeling quite as tired either, so that's good. But yeah, that's the end of the book, and I hope you all enjoyed it.